disappointed they didn't pick up the win last week and stay in the hunt for the national championship. Leverton's kick into the end zone, a couple of yards deep to Shanklin, who will take a knee, and Kentucky will take over 1st and 10 at their 20-yard line. And here's our Regions Bank starting lineups for the Kentucky Wildcats. Offensively, Anthony White, a senior who does a lot of things for them in the backfield, along with his partner Derek Homer. Keep an eye on Shanklin, big play guy for the Wildcats. Up front, these 5 guys have played every single offensive snap, and they're brand new this season. Yeah. Coach very happy with their performance. And, of course, the quarterback, Dave Rowe, Dusty Bonner. What a year he has had.
Yeah, who would ever have thought that he would come in and step up like he did when Tim Couch left?
65% completion rate. Only quarterback in the conference to complete over 60% of his passes. The clock
he didn't get it off.
Down. Too many men. They didn't have enough men on the field to get set offensively, and Kentucky had to run a guy out late, and that cost them a 5-yard penalty to start this football game. Derek Smith had to truck out on the field. And here's our Regions Bank defensive lineup for the Tennessee Volunteers that has kind of moved some people around. Sean Ellis, you know his name. He is still the solid one up front. Darwin Walker will play today, but he will not start with a separated shoulder. Anthony Sessions, a guy they'll keep an eye on, and we'll take a look at that secondary in just a moment. So it's 1st and 15 from the 15 for the Wildcats. Quick hitter across the middle to about the 21-yard line. And here's our Tennessee secondary. Mickey Allen gets the start because it's strong safety. They've made an adjustment and moved Fred White up to the linebacker spot to kind of cover some guys because of the injury suffered to Eric Westmoreland. So some changes for Tennessee. We'll see how that plays in this opening drive.
Well, a lot of changes, Dave. 5 actual changes where players are playing different positions.
R2 Spinner, the freshman running back, gets the carry, and that'll bring up 3rd and long for Kentucky.
See, I don't like defensive changes. I think you need to go with what has gotten you here. But they felt that the injury to Eric Westmoreland really put the hex or something on the secondary, because they moved Fred White up to his spot. Then they had to move Raynoch Thompson into the middle. So a lot of changes.
5 wide receivers on 3rd and 8 from the 22.
You see the automatic call there. It's an audible on the line. Dusty Bonner making a call. He's in a shotgun formation. No backs.
Whalen in motion. 3 receivers to the near side. Quick hitter. And pass is dropped by Anthony White. Crowd wanted a flag on a late hit. Won't get it. Mickey Allen is the volunteer to put a helmet on him. And that'll bring up a 4th down situation. And that is not what Hal Mumme wanted to have happen.
Well, and you can look at how Mumme talked to Dusty Bonner. In talking with Dusty yesterday, we said, does Hal Mumme get on you? Oh, well, he's pretty easy coming to sideline. He just gnawed on him there.
Andy Smith back to punt. Only 36 total return yards against Mr. Smith this year.
Let me tell you how incredible that is. 36 total for the entire year.
And a booming kick inside the 30. Eric Parker, one of the best in the country at returning punts, asked a call for the fair catch at the 28. Here's our Regions Bank lineup. Offensively for the Volunteers, Jamal Lewis has a bumped shoulder, a bad ankle, and trying to find some room to run this year. And he'll be joined in the backfield, of course, by one of the best, Travis Henry, as well. The offensive line, I think that they don't come much better than that group. Cozy Coleman, the guy who pretty much runs the show up front. T. Martin, 20-2 as a starting quarterback for the Vols. Of course, one of those losses last week. A quick hitter.
Oh, boy, did you see the move that Travis Henry made that time to come get to the outside?
And Dave, interesting that Travis Henry gets the call right out of the gate instead of Jamal Lewis.
Watch the outside pressure. I think it's McCree. 30 comes, it's 52 comes from the outside. Watch that. Just jump right back inside him. Just step around him. He makes something out of nothing.
Well, Travis Henry.
That was Anwar Stewart, 52, I should say, on the outside, but he's got to make that play. Well, we got some kind of a discussion going on here.
It's a play clock issue right now, and they're trying to run.
Yeah, when it's sitting on 32. I know that's wrong.
Even you know.
Yeah, I got my numbers down.
Here's that Wildcat defense that has played quite well of late for Hal Mumme, Anwar Stewart, Gordon Grove, Massey, and Johnson. Johnson will move inside a little bit today as well. Jeff Snedeker, the senior, the most fierce competitor I have met in this league. And in the secondary, some changes, some injuries. Patrick Wiggins, a guy who just walked onto this team, a former quarterback in junior college, was the SEC Defensive Player of the Week last week. Playing one of the safety spots today.
And when they introduced Jeff Snedeker, when they ran out, this is senior day, this crowd just erupted when they ran him out.
Mike Major, the defensive coordinator for Kentucky, likes to call his defense the black flag defense, a never surrender motto.
Right. They stick together.
So we've got everything worked out. It's 2nd and 4 for the Vols. It's Henry. And he loses a couple. Jeff Snedeker.
Well, we just talked about Snedeker. He's the tone setter. On every defense, you have one guy that walks into that huddle, and he makes a difference in the huddle. Snedeker makes it in the huddle, and he makes it right here. Look at this step up right in his face. You see McCree, number 30, come in there. They stuffed him on the line.
Snedeker this season, 75 tackles.
Always #1 tackler for this team.
Shotgun formation on 3rd down. Martin, quick hitter, 1st down Vols. Eric Parker across midfield down to the 42 of Kentucky. A big 3rd down play for Tennessee.
Boy, and that's what, if you're a Tennessee fan, that's the way you want to see T. Martin get off. Drop back in the pocket, have a little bit of confidence. His line gives him good blocks. Step forward and throw that strike in there. That gives the quarterback a lot of confidence.
Gain of 26 for Tennessee on 3rd down and 5. Tennessee now in Kentucky territory. Eric Parker, just a youngster, a sophomore, now has 25 catches this season. It's Henry. He gains 5. George Massey makes the stop for Kentucky.
You know, both these running backs, both Jamal Lewis and Travis Henry, when they take that first step, they're at full speed. They get going to that line of scrimmage now. They've sat Jamal Lewis off a little bit farther off the ball because they thought he got to the hole too quick. But Travis Henry's the same type of runner. Gets off the ball, and look at that. Last 2 games, 7.5 yards a carry.
At 132 yards versus Notre Dame, averaging about 7.5 yards over those last 2 games that we just saw. And he's close to the 1st down, probably a yard or 2 shy. Anthony Wajda out of his free safety spot brings him down.
Well, it's important for Kentucky to get up into the backfield to make them change their direction, because they run at a point of attack. They stay in that hole and they just stay right to it. If they get to it, they burst into your secondary. If you can make them change direction, that's when you can stop them.
Stay tuned at halftime for our Bell South You Call the Play feature. A look at a big call from SEC games past. 3rd down now. Short 3. Martin to the outside, can't complete the pass.
Boy, Anwar Stewart got great pressure that time. Stewart's the outside defensive end, and he gets right up in T. Martin's face. I think Martin had to throw this before he wanted to. And this brings up a 4th down. They're almost in 4-down territory, Dave.
We'll see what Tennessee does, and they're going to go for it. Big 4th down attempt for this volunteer team. They are 54% this year on 4th down conversions. They have gone for it only 11 times.
Boy, and this is where T. Martin is so dangerous because he runs with it.
Play action. Martin under pressure. And he has the 1st down. T. Martin has been the guy who has been forced to make the big plays every game all season. Today he does it again.
Absolutely. He got an outside blitz from his left. Flushes him out of the pocket. Right down here, you're going to see the pressure. And he's got to make it to right about the 32-yard line. He makes it inside the 32-yard line for that 1st down. But, boy, that factor is so huge when he can run with the ball.
Defended nicely by Kentucky. T. Martin, just a great athlete. Travis Henry gets a couple of yards.
I love Travis Henry's nickname. Isn't it block of cheese or something? He said you just can't get your hands on him. He's like a big old block of cheese. Well, I'll tell you, when he runs the football, he's cheddar cheese. He's strong.
The junior out of Frostproof, Florida, looking to be the man next year. He has all the tools in the world. And right now, he is the man with Jamal on the sideline with some injuries. Martin goes up top. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Boy, Marlon McCree got a great stick on T. Martin, but he stayed with the play.
Cedric Wilson hauls it in the back of the end zone, and Tennessee strikes on their first drive.
Well, there's a late blitz by McCree. Number 30 is going to stick T. Martin right in the chest, but Martin stays with him. He's right there in the middle of your screen. Watch 30 come in here. Late blitz now, right in his throat. Stays right there. Down he goes, and boy, what a super pass. Right on the fingertips.
The extra point is up and good, and boy, does that silence this crowd. T. Martin picks up a huge fourth down conversion and keeps the Tennessee drive alive. And then he connects with Cedric Wilson with his fourth touchdown reception of the season. David Leverton to kick off. Shanklin watches it sail out of bounds, and they call it a touchdown.
Look at, did you see Shanklin put his hands up on his hips saying, wait a minute, that went out of bounds?
He wanted that ball to be
out to the 35.
Exactly. No flag, and they'll bring it to the 20. Leverton laughing. In his eyes, it was a perfect kick. As you look at the newly expanded Commonwealth Stadium for this season, 70,000 on hand. And of course, this is a classic border ward. Knoxville just a couple hours away. Orange and blue, great scene for college football. It's a little mist in the air.
I don't see an empty seat, though. I'll tell you this, they were out front hawking those tickets.
5 wide receivers. Nearly picked off in the middle of the football field.
Oh, boy, Raynock Thompson. He almost came up with that football. It was right by his foot. Again, on a crossing pattern. Watch 46 come in there. It's intended for Derek Smith. See the ball come up right there, and Raynock Thompson. Look at it. Oh, you can tell he almost has that football. Would that have been a gift? Boy, he's another one of those trendsetters. Just sets the tone for you, Dave.
They moved Raynock into the middle today. Defensive alignment. Quick hitting to the outside. Derek Homer works hard, but picks up about 6 yards. And that'll bring up another big third down already for the Wildcats.
A lot of underneath throws right here because you know you're going to get pressure. Right here, you can see this is just a shade play. What you're trying to do is break a tackle right in here, get it blocked by your other wide receiver, and pick up yards.
There's Chris Hatcher, former quarterback for Hal Mumme at Valdosta State, holds all kinds of Division II records. Works with Dusty Bonner on an ongoing basis. 5 wide receivers. Bonner under pressure. Slips away. Scrambles. Still 3 yards shy of the first down, and a flag.
Well, the flag was thrown late. I'm wondering if it's face mask on the tackle, because they were going to hold them short of the first down. Let's see what the call is.
That's our referee, Al Ford. And Philip Fulmer getting to know our linesman quite well. Let's take a look and see what happened to Dusty and see if it was Dusty where the face mask occurred.
Well, 2 missed tackles right there. You can't miss those. Right in there.
Right there was your face mask. Good call. Here's Anthony White across midfield. Down to the 31-yard line. Dwayne Goodrich runs him out of bounds.
Now, this is what Hal Mumme talked about. If they could run the football, split them. When Tennessee puts that much pressure on you, you get penetration. If you can split them quickly and get that quick hitter, he can slide through the gap and be in the secondary. It's amazing how quick they can get to the line of scrimmage when you get that penetration run.
White this time, no gain. Anthony White is one of these multi-dimensional players that you can't say enough about having a guy like him in your backfield. Can run the football, block, catch it. I mean, he does everything. As you see what he ranks here in Kentucky in terms of receptions and rushing yards. Needs 50 receiving yards, Dave, to become one of just 3 guys with 1,500 yards rushing and 1,500 yards receiving in the history of college football.
That is incredible. Tells you about the versatility. And the next level of football, the NFL, they love players like that.
Pass picked off at the 23 by Andre Lott. And that was not a Dusty Bonner type of pass. It was intended for Brad Pyatt.
Well, Pyatt actually slips down, as does Andre Lott. Watch him as they come out here and try to stop. You see them both slip down. Lott kept his feet a little bit up underneath him. The ball was well thrown. It was right there.
And Andre Lott, quite content. He and Deion Grant. Lott's first interception of the season. But that pass had no zip to it at all.
It really did not. I can tell you Dusty Bonner's not too happy. Only 8 interceptions before that one. And you remember yesterday he could name all 8 exactly where he threw them.
Really only threw 5 all season.
That's right.
2 were late game bombs and 1 was a bad call. Over the middle, quick hitter. Caught. 44-yard line. Eric Parker. And some missed tackles by Kentucky. Cost them an extra 10 or 15 yards, a gain of 19.
Well, you've got to tackle, and Jeremy Bowie, number 38, has got to come down right here. You've got to hold on, because if you miss, you got to have Marlon McCree comes over and makes the tackle. But again, if you miss, they're out there running. Can't allow that to happen. If they complete the pass, you've got to tackle them.
No huddle for Tennessee. They're to the line quickly. Henry. Whoa. Boy,
wow.
Came close to breaking that one.
You see, looked like a couple flies hanging on the back there, just kind of dragging them along.
Johnson and Massey hanging on for dear life.
Well, I'll tell you this. Tennessee has come out. They've got a mission today, and it's to get over last week. They didn't establish the run last week. Let me tell you something. They're coming out. They're clicking on all the cylinders today.
It's nice when you got an offensive line that is so talented that you can run behind. Martin puts it up. Pass is complete at the 40. Eric Parker covered by Kenneth Grant. And that'll be another volunteer first down. Moving to near perfection at this point.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you know what's upsetting to the Kentucky coaches is this offense, because this offense, T. Martin is right on mark. The running backs are running hard. The offensive line's coming off. Everything is clicking. Your defense is answering the call. This has got to change the momentum if you're going to beat Kentucky.
Travis Henry inside the 20. Touchdown, Volunteers.
Untouched. Now, how many times do you see a running back go right through the line of scrimmage, right off the right guard, and go untouched? Nobody even gets a hand on him. There's just people pointing at him, but untouched on that 40-yard touchdown run. You'll see this. Runs right through the middle line of scrimmage. Again, doesn't even have to break speed. You see people getting controlled on the line of scrimmage. You got to get penetration. Nobody touches them.
Point after is up and good by Leverton. And Travis Henry now has 5 rushing touchdowns today, or this year. The Volunteers in complete control, 14-0. Back after a word from your local stations. Yard run by Travis Henry. They lead 14-0. Shanklin will have a chance to return this one from the goal line. Shanklin across the 30. Shanklin to midfield before he's brought down. And that gets Kentucky and their crowd back into the football game. A return of 50 yards for Kendrick Shanklin.
You know, as we take a look back on that last touchdown run, watch several things on this. First of all, break into the secondary by Travis Henry. That's a given. But the reason he was able to get in the secondary and get so wide open, great block by the wide receiver, Leonard Scott. Scott came back, and we may get a chance to see that, but what a block he made.
No backs, 5 wide receivers. Bonner goes up top. Hyatt dropped it at the 40.
Boy, and Dusty Bonner that time came off about 3 wide receivers, looking around field, trying to find someone open.
Let's check in with our third member of this team, Greg Bowser. Greg?
I'll tell you, Kentucky bench was real intense. Hal Mumme was talking to his offense and said that, hey, look, guys, we've got Whalen wide open. Let's go back to that play. That was on the interception that Dusty Bownell threw. So look for Dusty to go back to his tight end.
Well, he's found him a lot this year.
Pass batted in the air. Derek Homer misjudged it. Might have had a chance to get it. It was knocked up in the air by Raynoch Thompson.
You know what I'm noticing? Everybody's slipping and falling down. That time Whalen, when he came off the ball, he slipped and fell off the ball. No one seems to be getting their traction. You can see the tip right there. But again, everybody just losing their traction. We had a little bit of rain last night. This field may be a little slicker than what we thought.
Bonner 2 of 7 for 10 yards and 1 interception today. Down at the 44. Will Overstreet picks up the sack. That gives him 6.5 sacks this season, and Kentucky will have to punt it, or so we think.
Well, this is a secondary sack because there's no one open. You're supposed to get that off in about 2.5 seconds. Look at Bonner. He starts getting those happy feet. He knows everybody's covered. No place to get out of the pocket. You can see the reaction. There's Overstreet. Thompson, they're having a good time.
Eric Parker back to return the punt. Parker second in the SEC. He's had a 69-yard punt return for a touchdown this season as well. And Parker brought down at the 20 and only a couple of yards. And Kentucky continues their excellent coverage on punts. Dusty Bonner and the Wildcats having a tough time today in Lexington, trailing by 14. 16 to go. First down and 10 for the Volunteers, who have scored on their first 2 possessions. Travis Henry with the carry. Wiggins brings him down. And Henry got the start today because Jamal Lewis is on the bench. Jamal has a banged-up shoulder, has had it pretty much all season long, but this week he takes an ankle, and coaches weren't sure how he would respond this week, and obviously they didn't think he was up to speed. And Travis Henry has picked up the slack, you might say, if there is any.
Wow. You can make a highlight film out of Travis Henry so far. We still got time left in the first quarter.
Jeff Snedeker gets his big arms around Henry and brings him down for a loss of about 1.
Well, you got to do something to change the momentum, and Snedeker is the kind of person who does those type of things. He's a leader. Already with 3 tackles, he's the guy that, if they're going to change the momentum of this football game and get some back on their side, Snedeker is one of those leaders.
Mike Page, the defensive coordinator, hoping his team can find a way to slow down the ball, because offensively they have been awesome thus far.
They may have the blitz to get pressure on him.
Picked up nicely by Tennessee. Martin goes deep.
Oh, flag.
And a flag down. Kenneth Grant on the coverage. Cedric Wilson, who's got speed to burn, was running down the near sidelines. A flag is at the 49 of Kentucky.
And you see the look on Hal Mumme's face.
Pass interference on the defense. 15 yards, first down.
Now, the official running with him didn't throw the flag. The one that was in the center of the field threw the flag. This one on the left doesn't throw the flag. Let's see if we can see the hold. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to make that call. I don't want to get Bobby Gasson ahead of the officials calling me.
Kim Anderson, our spotter, says no way. We'll leave it at that.
I'm glad he said that.
Right, exactly. Nonetheless, it's a first down for Tennessee. Here goes Henry. Travis Henry will score his second touchdown of the afternoon. And this one goes 61 yards.
Well, I told you it could be a highlight film in this first quarter, because Henry has just gone over 100 yards rushing. Incredible. Well, you got to stop them at the line of scrimmage. You just can't allow them to get into secondary, especially when you're doing that blitz package where you're trying to get pressure. Because you break into secondary, you got nobody out there to come back up and make a tackle.
My goodness.
I'll tell you right now, let's see, 100 a quarter. They go for 400 in this game. What a first quarter. And he's over there saying, maybe digging up the record book, see what's the largest rushing yardage in the first quarter.
Shanklin better touch that and take a knee. He does so. Travis Henry gets the start today, and he has made the most of his opportunity, to say the least.
Oh. Outside breaks, made a tremendous move right there on Anwar Stewart, then bursts through the line and watch him just drag people with him. He's got 2 people on his back. This time, nobody gets on his back. This is his first touchdown. Down the sideline, dives for the pylon and breaks the plane. And it's been Travis Henry all first quarter here. Wow.
Penner in the backfield. He gets the handoff. Bernard Jackson, number 56, with the stop for Tennessee.
Well, you know, if there was any doubt that Tennessee would rebound from Arkansas, I think it's over. I think they've rebounded. They have come out and they are just playing with just a passion out here.
But for Tennessee's sake, we know how well Kentucky can move the football, and if you take a deep breath and relax a little bit, this team will strike in a hurry. Absolutely. They did it against Georgia. Everybody thought they were out of the football game, but they kept fighting.
Now this is going to be interesting. This may be the center off. Devon may have moved because he saw someone jump into the neutral zone, and you see them, they're kind of signaling, and Dusty Bonner says, no, it's going that way.
Defense was in the neutral zone, causing the offense to move 5 yards against the defense.
Yeah, that's the call.
Still second out.
Here's some scores around the country on our Pizza Hut scoreboard. South Carolina gets on the board first. North Carolina and Duke. Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech knows what that win means for them. Michigan, Ohio State in the Big Ten tied at 7. 2nd and 3. Bonner under pressure will step it up. Nowhere to go. And this secondary is all over these Kentucky receivers.
Well, what's happened to Bonner is interesting. You know, we talked about all the loss of the wideouts, and I think that's put extra added pressure. What they're doing is they're jamming Whalen on the line of scrimmage. They're not allowing him to get off. Bring a safety up on him and make that difficult. And then you have 2 wideouts that are just trying to learn new positions. They're going to this 5 wideout, no backs play, and it just has not been productive for him.
The quarterback draw for Dusty Bonner. Puts his head down and picks up the first down. Deion Grant had a chance to stop him, but Bonner slid right underneath his tackle.
Well, this is a tough kid at quarterback, Dusty Bonner. And it's a good call. You spread everybody out, 5 wideouts. Come up here. This is quarterback draw designed all the way. Just try to find a little bit of a seam. And Dusty Bonner, tough runner out there. Maybe he's the one on offense that can change the momentum in this first half. But Kentucky really needs a spark right now, Dave. They need something good to happen. They need to break one. They need to drive the length of the field, need to get back in this football game.
Bonner under pressure. Looking for Shanklin.
I thought Bonner almost didn't want to throw that. That ball looked like it just came off his hand odd.
Yeah, Bonner has not... Chris Hatcher had said today that his arm, Dusty's arm, might be getting a little sore. And it's not uncommon. A lot of quarterbacks this time of the year, but nobody throws a football as much as this Kentucky team. And Bonner has taken every snap, I believe, this year for this football team, with the exception of maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does wear on you. He's thrown 415 passes. It's a lot of throws.
Bonner just 2 of 8, 10 yards. Has to roll out of the pocket again. Across the middle, has his man. It's caught at the Tennessee 45, and it's his tight end, Bobby Blizzard. Big guy, 6'7", 265.
Well, they thought that Blizzard could be the big factor in this football game, but look at this, no time. Got to get the ball down. He's going to this 5 wide out, no back, and he's just throwing on the run. Blizzard does a good job circling inside right there, just making a huddle, just kind of making like a little curl pattern and being a big target.
Just his 3rd reception all year.
Boy, it looks like Dusty Bonner's taking it on himself to get a little momentum going here.
Here comes the blitz. Bonner, nowhere to go. 3, 4, 5 volunteers around the football. John Henderson led the way. Defensive tackle for this volunteer defense.
Boy, you talk about collapsing pockets. Watch this. Look at those white shirts. The center's just kind of coming down. I mean, the center of the pocket is just collapsing in front of him, and he's bailing out. Now, watch and see if Hal Mumme doesn't take him to the sideline and tell him just to kind of take a deep breath, relax a little bit, see if he can get a little bit more time and stay with the play.
Well, that Wildcat offense has given up 50 sacks this year. That's the most in the Southeastern Conference as Tennessee takes a timeout. Dusty has been sacked 50 times, but he's probably been hit twice that this season. Tennessee leading Kentucky 21-0. Kentucky would like to get something going offensively. The handoff. Anthony White is up 2 or 3 yards, but that was the first time today. I think it's a very valid point here, Davis. In fact, that was the first time we saw a full house backfield. Yeah. And Kentucky wanted to try to run the football today, but they got behind so quickly they haven't been able to do that. But Hal Mumme wanted to use that, as you termed it, an inverted wishbone.
Exactly. It is an inverted wishbone. You know, when I saw Dusty Bonner run over here, he took a little skip that was interesting to me. I wondered if he maybe sprained an ankle because he took a little bit of a skip that looked kind of odd.
Up top goes Dusty Bonner. He has his man. Flag is down at the 19. We will wait for the flag. Derek Smith run out of bounds just before the goal line.
Now, was it a push-off? Was it a push-off by Derek Smith?
That's what I thought I saw.
You can't push off. You cannot push off the defensive back. Offensive pass interference is the call. Well, the fans don't like it, but watch right here. We're going to see down the field right in the middle of your screen. Now, see right here when he gets even now. Does he push him off? Wow, Fred White, you saw immediately when Fred White made the tackle, he came back over there, and I mean, he was complaining to the official. For Hal Mumme, nothing's going right.
Well, Derek Smith not happy. Hal Mumme not happy. That is the way things have gone here in the first quarter. And that was the last play of the first quarter. And our officials just now recognize that after they move the football back, and that will do it for the first quarter. And let me tell you this, and I'm not understating this. The first quarter belonged to Tennessee.
Wow. That's an understatement.
21-0. The Volunteers rolling on the road. Back in a moment. Down to their 1.
Third down, a long way to go.
Bonner, nice move, splits out of the pocket, but well shy of the first down. He's about 4 yards shy of the original line of scrimmage.
But you've seen how quick he has to get out of the pocket. That just shows the pocket, the pressure that Tennessee can put on you. There's people. Darwin Walker this time gets right up in his face. You're going to see, look at the pressure right there. Now he's got to get out of the pocket. Does a good job getting by that tackle. I like this kid at the tail end. He dives for as much yardage as he can get. But, boy, that pass interference really hurt Kentucky.
Down to the Tennessee 1-yard line.
Interesting. They got 4 wideouts on this one.
4th and 14, and they'll punt it away. Moving kick again by Smith. Parker called for a fair catch. Exactly.
Did he not signal for fair catch? Wait a minute.
He did.
Oh,
exactly.
There we go.
You can't pull off that and get away with it.
That's right. Well, it has to be a sign, and it sure looked like it. Looked as if when he was running across at about the 6 or 7 yard line to catch it, it looked as if he put his hand up signaling fair catch and then took off with it. That's unsportsmanlike, I believe. Let's see right in here. Watch right there. You see that right there? That's what everybody took to be the fair catch. Now when he takes off, everybody goes, wait a minute.
Yeah, either he was calling for a fair catch or he might have been waving to a buddy on the 10-yard line. Tennessee backed up inside their own 5. The story has been Travis Henry, a $125 in rushing yards.
I change. I think you go right back to him.
Kentucky loads up the line of scrimmage. Only a couple stopped by Wajda. And here's a look at our John Hancock first quarter stats, which, as you might imagine, have been dominated by Tennessee. Average play, 13.4 yards for Tennessee, 4.1 for Kentucky.
Look at those rushing yards, 129. Of course, Travis Henry had 125 of them.
There's Marlon McCree down on the field, the junior out of Daytona Beach, Florida.
And you know when you're in trouble when we talk to Hal Mumme. He has so many changes.
We'll come back to Lexington in a moment after these words from Pizza Hut. The up-and-comers. 2nd down and 8 for the Volunteers. It's Henry grinding his way close to the 10. Snedeker leading the charge along with Dennis Johnson. And let's check in with Greg Bowser, who has more for us. Greg?
Well, Dave, I'll tell you, for Tennessee, Travis Henry's doing a good job, but Jamal Lewis came into the game with his shoulder banged up, and he hurt his ankle in the Arkansas game. But that's all that's wrong with him. They're going to hold him out, and with Henry playing the way he is, we may not see Jamal at all in this football game.
We also might see a little bit of Ontario Smith. But Henry right now averaging about 11 yards a carry. Martin to throw under pressure. He's got some room on the near side if he can get the corner. He does so. And Martin out of bounds at about the 30-yard line, and another huge play by the senior quarterback.
Oh, T. Martin does it all the time. Gets under that pressure, looks downfield, can't find it. Rather than risk throwing it into trouble, this is going to his left. Now, right there, it's not open. Now, bring it down, get outside. Boy, what a block on Dennis Johnson right here. Cut back, you're going to see a flash right there. Oh, boy, ouch. But T. Martin just scampers down the sideline, gets his team out of trouble.
I mean, it is one big play after another for this guy.
Well, he just has that extra skill of being able to run with the football and knowing where the pressure is.
Smith to the outside. That's Ontario Smith, the freshman out of Sacramento, California. Trying to catch up with that Martin pass. T. Martin, by the way, Dave, is just to show you what kind of groove he is in of late. He's only thrown 2 interceptions in his last 4 games. That's about 125 attempts.
Yeah. And that one against Arkansas was a tipped ball that Jamal Lewis tipped coming out of the backfield.
There's Randy Sanders in his first year as his offensive coordinator, taking over the duties for David Cutcliffe, who has done, by the way, a marvelous job in Oxford with the Ole Miss Rebels this year. And Randy Sanders is feeling comfortable with this offense now. He thinks his system is in place. Snedeker levels T. Martin, and that pass ball's incomplete, but 17 in blue hit 17 in white in a big way.
Man, oh man. But this was going to be a little late flip screen out to the flat. And Snedeker, look, see T. Martin looking off. Now when he turns around, it's like, holy mackerel, who's that? Snedeker runs through people. Tough kid.
Well, here we go, Dave. Another 3rd down for this Kentucky defense.
Yeah, does T. Martin run for it again? I don't think so.
It's a 10-yard pickup for a 1st down. Martin over the middle, behind his receiver, incomplete. Intended for Cedric Wilson, and Tennessee will have to punt for the first time this afternoon.
And that's really the first ball that I've seen T. Martin throw that was a poorly thrown ball. Behind Cedric Wilson, he had him on a crossing pattern. That was 1st down written all over if he delivered the football. Well, you're looking for something to change for Kentucky, something to get some momentum for them. They need to drive the football, get a score, get some enthusiasm back for their offense.
High punt. Shanklin, fair catch at the 28. And Kentucky try to get going offensively. They have it. 1st and 10 from their own 28. We will be back after a word from your local stations. Vince and Dusty Bonner will try to put this Wildcat offense on the scoreboard. They trail 21-0. That inverted wishbone. Kentucky will try to run the football. Derek Homer, nowhere to go.
And Dave, at that timeout, it was really interesting. I watched Dusty Bonner walk over with Hal Mumme, the head coach, and Mumme just told him to take a deep breath, relax, go out there, have some fun. You know, they're bowl eligible. The pressure is off. You just go out there. This is a marvelous Tennessee team. Just have fun, see what we can do. See if he doesn't relax a little bit more in this series.
We've gone back to the 4 wide receivers. Single setback is White. He lines up behind the tackle on 2nd down and 8. Right into the hands of Raynoch Thompson. Down to the 8-yard line.
Intercepted by Raynoch Thompson.
What he was throwing was to James Whalen. He never saw him.
And a flag comes down at about the 7. Perhaps a celebration, but Raynoch Thompson with his 3rd interception of the season takes it inside the Wildcat 10. And Dusty Bonner obviously didn't see it.
No, he never saw Raynoch Thompson. What he saw.
Against this team, 15-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
Oh, 15 yards. Late penalty there. Watch this right here. You're going to see Raynoch Thompson right there. You see him step right in the way. He's going to dump it overhead. Bang. There it is right in his hands. Bonner just never saw Raynoch Thompson.
And Raynoch Thompson, who normally plays on the outside, has been moved to the inside, playing that middle backer spot today due to the injury to Eric Westmoreland.
Boy, that's when you really make a mistake, when you just don't see a defender standing right in front of your wide receiver. That just shows that you're focused, so focused and so intent on your wide receiver, you just lose the periphery of the vision of the play.
Ontario Smith dropped for a loss of 2. Raynoch Thompson, you look at Snedeker, excited about his performance today, but Raynoch Thompson, Dave, you wonder why he's a Butkus Award finalist. I mean, wow. You can put him anywhere on the football field, and he will cause havoc, and we saw it there.
Yes, he does. He sure does. There's another tough kid, Jeff Snedeker.
Let's go downstairs once again to Greg.
Well, I'll tell you, Marlon McCree, number 30 for a Kentucky linebacker, he sprained his knee on an earlier series. They took him out. They're going to wrap it and ice it down and reevaluate him in about 10 minutes to see if he can go.
Doesn't look very positive for one Marlon McCree.
No, see, when that's just a sprain, you're up moving around trying to get a little movement in it. Did not look good. Interesting, the officials called timeout there. I had no idea why. They just said timeout for a minute. Maybe they want to talk about something.
Well, it's 2nd and 12. Shotgun for the Volunteers. Martin back to pass, gets hit as he lets it go. Ball bounces off the shoulder pads of Leonard Scott. And I'm sure T. Martin might have a word or two for him. And that's been a problem all season for this Tennessee offense. Guys have got to make plays.
Yeah, you got to catch the ball away from your body. Watch Snedeker come in here, 17 again. Right in there. You see that flash? He kind of nicks T. Martin. But you've got to catch this football away from your body. See, a lot of people try to catch it and cradle it up in their chest. And Leonard Scott needs to catch it away from his body and pull it in. Big 3rd down here. See if Kentucky doesn't come with a blitz. I'd bring Snedeker again. Let him come on.
Here he comes. Nearly got him. Passes off, and it's complete. Inside the 15, and Cedric Wilson, and Snedeker missed it by a fraction, and he can't believe it.
He's coming from the outside blitz, and what T. Martin did is he rolled a little bit to the strong side away from Snedeker to get away from the pressure. Snedeker comes from the right of your screen. Look at Martin. He sees him. Now, just go over here a little bit, buy a little time. With that tremendous arm strength, he just whips it in there.
T. Martin has been awesome
Oh,
today.
I'll tell you this. When I said that Tennessee was clicking on all cylinders, they are an offensive machine today.
Well, it's 1st and 10 now for 13. It's Henry. And he will walk into the end zone for his 3rd touchdown of this football game.
Boy, and gives some good blocking checks up front there. Fred Weary and Chad Clifton. I mean, they drove them off the line of scrimmage, just collapsed that side. When Travis Henry looked up, he just said, wow, there's nobody out there at all. He just kind of like just jogged into the end zone. Look at that. Nobody even close by. Not even anybody over there to even say hello.
We need to apologize to Alex Walls right here. I said Leverton earlier with the point afters, and he probably wishes I said Leverton now. It's no good for Alex Walls. But Tennessee leads 27 to nothing. Travis Henry has been awesome. So have the entire Volunteer football team. Today, he came in with just 4 on the season. And that kick, once again, placed perfectly.
That is absolutely incredible. Right? Exactly. Just bounces like 1 yard in the end zone.
Travis Henry with that 144 yards today, rushing. Kentucky, 12 carries, 59 yards rushing. And Dusty Bonner having a rough go at it this afternoon.
Yeah, what Tennessee is doing is they're putting a lot of pressure on the pocket, so the pocket's collapsing. They've taken away Whalen, and the offensive scheme is they're not having time to go downfield so for Dusty Bonner, it's a tough offensive flow. He's just not getting any speed or anything going on offense.
Another play for no gain for Kentucky. Wesley, the backup fullback, gets nothing. And remember, as a Tennessee player is down on the ground, looks like Darwin Walker, who has a separated shoulder coming into this game, and he may have just.
Yeah, you see how he took his helmet off?
Yeah.
That ain't good when you take your helmet off. I've been in that spot. He hurt that shoulder last week. We saw him taken off the field. He's a tough guy. Tremendous competitor, and he wanted to play, and you see him pointing up to it looks like he's pointing to that left shoulder again.
Darwin, a great story, the senior. As Darwin basically is a guy that many thought was going to head off to the NFL a year ago, wanted to come back. Billy Ratliff, one of his best friends, wanted to play with him again. Billy goes down with an injury. Darwin continues to play. He's just an all-American type of person, not just a football player. And he can bench press, Dave, something on a little bit more meat.
He can bench press. He can bench press the Jefferson Pilot truck.
Yeah, he can go up over 500 pounds. Can Darwin?
Yeah. What a good kid, though. I mean, just a wonderful kid to talk to. Just a lot of fun. See what happens here. See if it doesn't get that right. Look for the left arm is what they said that he hurt. And maybe falls on that left arm. Ouch.
You know, everybody was coming off the defensive line going, boy, it's great. We're having a great time out there. And Darwin had to get in the mix.
Well, sure, you want to get in there. When you get a team down 27 to nothing, and it's just sack time, you're just having fun.
Homer makes the catch, but they say it's out of bounds. Goodrich on the coverage.
Boy, Goodrich did a super job right here, running with the wide out. In this regard, it's Homer coming out of the backfield, but running with him step for step and just looking at him. When he looks back for the ball, look at the right of your screen. When Homer looks back for the ball, that's when Goodrich looks back for the ball. Right in there. See him playing him right there? Now just forcing him, going up high. No contact there. You see how his arms went straight up, definitely out of bounds.
Well, 3rd and long again for Kentucky. 3rd and 11. As the ball rests on the 19-yard line. Shotgun for Bonner.
Here come the big guys putting the blitz on.
Whalen, first down, and his first catch of the game.
Well, and Dusty Bonner got some time to stand back there and look. He was able to come off that primary receiver. His offensive line gave him a little bit of time, and you can see everybody, Whalen's excited. Everybody's trying to get something going here. But it was a good pocket right here. You see a blitz up the middle, and they pick it up. And look at this, slide, slide, slide. Have time to come on that crossing pattern. And Whalen just makes a good catch.
That was a gain of 17. Kentucky gets out of some offensive trouble at the 36.5. Bonner has to get rid of it in a hurry. Does so across the middle. Another first down. That goes to the tight end, Bobby Blizzard, the true freshman out of Hampton, Virginia.
Boy, and they love Bobby Blizzard here. They said if he can really get with the flow and everything, he's huge. At 6'7", he can run. This is good for Dusty Bonner to get that momentum, get this crowd back in it, move the football, take the pressure off your defense. So he's making audible calls on the line of scrimmage, making adjustments.
No backs, 5 wideouts from midfield. Quick hitter, Shankman. Ducks down. Inside the 40 to the 36. And what a move by Kendrick Shankman.
And what's funny is Fred White and Dwayne Goodrich, they just look at each other and said, where'd he go? He just kind of ducked down between them. Right down here, the bottom of your screen. Watch this. He just ducks down right here. Now watch. Whoop! He's right through.
That's pretty good.
Now, that's like you could do it.
Yeah. Are you saying because I'm short?
No. I'm fast. I'm fast.
Okay, good. Shanklin, an explosive player. That would be certainly a viable option in next season's offense. Bonner under pressure. He goes down at the 35. Will Overstreet the first to get to him.
Well, who hit Raynoch Thompson? Because he came in there really late. He wanted a flag. Tennessee looked for a flag. Might have been Sixbury on the tail end of this. Let's see if we see Kip Sixbury, number 66. Right in there, you saw on the tail end of play somebody come flying. You see right there, Raynoch Thompson turns around and says, hey, where'd that guy there? There's the guilty person, Kip Sixbury.
There's Darwin Walker with the coat on. And we'll check his status out with Greg Bowser in a moment, but it doesn't appear that Darwin will be back in this football game.
I can tell you this is Hal Mummy time because this is 4 downs. Just go for it.
Dusty Bonner has taken some licks today.
Boy, Raynoch Thompson's been all over the field. That time in the backfield. You know, it's amazing how intense Hal Mummy stays in this football game. He's over there. They're down 27-0. He just never loses his focus.
Let's go down to Greg one more time. Greg?
Well, I'll tell you, number 58, Darwin Walker for Tennessee Volunteers. He aggravated that shoulder injury, and he's done for the day.
He's got a smile on his face over there. Eric Westmoreland already out. He blew out his knee in practice earlier this week.
What's interesting about Westmoreland is, I'll tell you that thought in just a second.
Bonner up top has Whalen inside the 10. Touchdown, Kentucky. And Bonner is pumped up.
Well, you know, it's amazing. Deion Grant came in there. I thought Grant was going to intercept it. The ball just kind of floated over top of his head. But great concentration by James Whalen looking downfield, looking at football in. I saw Deion Grant, number 7, flash in there, and I thought, uh-oh. But he just misjudged it. But that may give Kentucky some life.
Samuel on for the point after. It is up, and it is good. And Kentucky is on the board behind a Dusty Bonner touchdown pass to the NCAA's all-time best tight end reception guy, James Whalen, with his 10th receiving touchdown of the year.
Imagination. He feels that he's right in this football game.
Kickoff down to the 5, taken by Leonard Scott. He's got some speed and can't use it as he gets taken out at the 27. Let's look around the Southeastern Conference, presented by Morgan Keegan. It's number 1 versus number 3 down at the Swamp later today. Florida's Doug Johnson leads a high-powered Gator attack, while Florida State's Peter Warwick is the go-to man for the Seminoles. The winner is in the driver's seat for a shot at the national title. Won't get much bigger than that. Other games today, Clemson and South Carolina. We'll update you on that score in a moment. And another big one later tonight, Alabama at Auburn. And how about the hurting Auburn put on Georgia last week? That game now very interesting. Henry on the carry.
Well, how about those scores?
Clemson leading South Carolina right now, 7-6. That in the second quarter. North Carolina over Duke. Maybe that win over NC State. Got that program going in the right direction. Virginia Tech hurt Temple 27-7 at halftime. And East Carolina, the 23rd ranked team in the country, in a battle with the Wolfpack. Boy, would that be upsetting to the Michigan fans if Ohio State, having a horrible year, can beat the Wolverines. T-Mark goes way up top, and Scott can't catch it.
Boy, Scott put on the burners on that one. He's got great speed. And I want to tell you something. When he got to about the 30-yard line, he saw how far that ball was thrown, and he shifted into 5th gear, and he took off.
We're talking Willie Galt type speed.
Boy. Watch this separation. Right there is where he shifted in. Now you're just waving at him saying, hey, look at that. He just leaves the defender. That's Jeremy Bowie. Just kind of leaves him out of the picture.
One of many world-class sprinters in this league.
Another one of those third down plays.
Kentucky, Tennessee, 3 of 5 today on third down conversions. Martin hit from behind. They say it's a pass. Incomplete. Who got him? Chris Gayton hit him from behind. The sophomore out of Montreal. And T. Martin.
He never saw it. T. Martin on the backside. Watch this. Top of your screen right there. You're going to see him coming around the backside. Number 33. That's Gayton. He hits him, and that was close to being a fumble.
That's a good call.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Levered it back to punt. Nearly blocked. Shankman will take it at the 25. And doesn't go very far with it to the 26, but a defensive stand by the Wildcats. Eric Edmonds on the stop for the Vols.
Well, the big key on the play with T. Martin was his arm going forward. Now watch right in here. Is his arm going forward? Right there. No, he brings it back. Ooh. You know, now I know why you went, ooh. I don't know. Was his arm going forward? He brings it down. Now he's got it back. Yeah, his arm was going forward.
Come on, I got to see Bobby a lot. I got to see Bobby Gaston block this summer.
Bobby Gaston, of course, the head of the SEC officials.
And the flag is thrown.
Well, just clock didn't run out.
Could be a legal substitution.
Yeah, running out of the huddle. You can't have 12 men with a huddle.
Huddle with 12 people, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
One of the new rules this year that they're trying to really enforce, and they've done so.
Yeah, it's the deception rule. If they can find Whalen a little bit more and get him open in this offense, and they can get another score, they can get right back in this. 2 scores for Hal Mumme, and this Kentucky offense is not out of reach. 3's a little bit hard, but 2. Oh, that's a pile. That's just a massive humanity up front there.
It's Artus Penner, the true freshman tailback. Bernard Jackson on the stop. Marlon McCree, number 30, walking out of that picture, putting his helmet on, just came out of the locker room, came down, slapped some fives with his teammates.
Yeah.
He left the field back in the first quarter. Would look like a serious knee injury, but he's back running on the sideline, and that'll be good news for Kentucky fans. McCree, somebody with a lot of speed at that linebacker spot.
They're making him do a little side lateral movement. He looks like he's sharp, ready to go.
Bonner.
Oh. It's a wave of white and orange.
Man, that defensive front is tough.
Well, they all have sacks. I mean, you look across the line. Ellis has got 8 sacks. Darwin Walker has 7. Overstreet's got 5.5. Henderson's got a sack. And then your secondary, it's just a wave. Look at them come off the ball. That's exactly like you like your defense to come off the ball. Don't worry about the run. Pick that up.
Dave, Anthony Sessions, who got a start at the linebacker spot because of Westmoreland, you saw him kind of sneak in there, number 22.
That's a delayed blitz by Sessions.
Sacks today for this ball defense on 3rd and 18. They complete a pass for about 9. That'll bring up 4th down. Blizzard on the receiving end of that Bonner pass.
I'm gonna tell you, I like Blizzard. I really think he's a good prospect. I mean, he's big and he goes out there, he runs hard. I mean, we're talking 6'7". That's a nice target.
6'6", 6'7", 260 for Blizzard. Smith, another true freshman tight end, 6'6", 240. I mean, they got some size at that spot.
Well, here at this school, you got to be able to catch. That's what Blizzard looks like he can do.
As Hal Mumme told us yesterday, you're not going to play if you can't catch it.
Oh, did he rough the punt?
They say it was blocked. They say that Will Overstreet got a hand on the football. Fair catch by Parker.
Wait a minute. That ball went 35, 40 yards.
Actually, it went 41, Dave.
That's the longest block I've ever seen.
41-yard block.
If he hadn't blocked it, it would have gone 60. Well, maybe we can get another peek at it, but Hal Mumme's upset. I'm serious. That ball went 41 yards. Now watch right here.
Dave, he missed it.
I don't see any block there.
He missed it.
Let's see if he sees it. Let's see what we see right here. Out there. No, he hit his leg.
Missed it. All right.
Okay, I thought
nothing we can do about it from up here. That's all I know. Handoff, gains a couple. It's Travis Henry.
That would have been the longest block I had ever seen. 41 yards on a block.
Hal Mumme is infuriated because he knows that would have been a big penalty, and his offense could have got, good field position.
I think what the official heard, I think he heard the slap, but I think it was the slap on the leg that he heard, thinking it was blocked.
Martin, the pass goes up top. Has his man.
I don't think he had it.
Yeah, good call. Cedric Wilson bobbled it right as he went out of bounds. And a tremendous call by the officiating.
Boy, that is. I want to tell you how hard that is for an official. You're running dead out. You're watching the receiver, trying to make sure that he gets a foot down. You see the official on the right? Now, he also has to watch and make sure he has control. The official comes in there, and he saw the bobble of the ball. See, it wasn't clean. Right there, he's bobbling, doesn't have control, and he saw that. The official saw that and called it. That was an excellent call.
And Cedric Wilson, who's been battling hamstring injuries, leaves the field. The coaches thought this would be his best game because it's been a while since he's been 100%.
Another one of those big third downs.
4 wide out shotgun for T. Martin. Under pressure. Sacked at the 30. Anwar Stewart brings him down right near the line of scrimmage.
Now that's what defensive players have got to do, Dave. When you get a collapsed pocket and you get a quarterback who steps up, you've got to have somebody come underneath. Watch 52. He's out to the right. He comes back underneath. Doesn't continue all the way around. He sees that T. Martin is going to run up inside. No, Tennessee. I mean, Kentucky might have had to call a timeout. They didn't have a return. Shanklin wasn't out there.
I think old Hal's still a little miffed about that punt. He is. He's still talking about it. But Hal Mumme has certainly turned this entire state around in terms of their excitement for football. Commonwealth Stadium renovated at the conclusion of last season. Basically, as soon as the last game was played in here, they changed things around. And Commonwealth Stadium certainly underwent those expansion, bringing capacity to over 67,000. Today is a record crowd. 40 suites were added. 71,000 on hand today. Cost of the project, about $24 million. And it has paid off so far. Cats are averaging about 68,000 today, 71. I mean,
there's not an empty seat in this place. I can promise you that.
Evidence kick. Shanklin lets it bounce, but will pick it up at the 16. Runs out of bounds. Picked up about 7 yards. Not a bad play by Kendrick. Your source for sports on the internet, jpsports.com. It's now online with a great new look and many new features, and hopefully it's not new to you because you've been on it all season. Each week we'll bring you previews of our upcoming telecast, which won't happen anymore.
Won't happen.
No, this is our last game.
I may still have
basketball coming up. Right. But your column, though.
Oh, my column, yes. You know they've archived that. That's really neat. You can go back and read them all year long.
Bonner pump fakes, buys some time. And he's out of bounds. We'll see where he goes out of bounds at the 28. Mumme wanted a late hit, won't get it. D'Angelo Lloyd is the one who had a jersey.
But you know what happened? D'Angelo Lloyd had him, but he didn't throw him down. That's the difference in the play right here. As Bonner comes outside right here, there comes Lloyd. Now watch what he does. He grabs him on the shoulder, but he doesn't throw him down. He slings him out of bounds, but again, doesn't throw him out of bounds. Throw him down on the ground. Well, this is a lot of time for Dusty Bonner and company. 149. If they can get a score here, even if it's a field goal, they can feel that they're back in this football game.
Over the middle to Whalen. Looks like it's going to be very close to a first down. Probably has it.
You know what Whalen wanted that time? He wanted somebody, they'd need him. When he went down, somebody rolled over top of him. It might have been Sessions who came over top of him. He wanted a personal foul, but he didn't get it. You know, the point I was going to make about Westmoreland's injury is that they feel that they can go in there arthroscopically in his knee, sew that cartilage, and have him back in 2 weeks for the bowl game. Get ready for the bowl game.
Bonner under pressure and will go down. Flags are flying. Bonner just kind of...
I think he got a face mask. This may work out.
They kept his feet moving, which was the positive thing, and actually saved himself a few yards. Raynoch Thompson, the first to get back there.
And another Tennessee player down.
And that's D'Angelo Lloyd.
Face mask against the defense. First down.
Boy, that's a big, big break for the Wildcats, and could be a big blow to this Tennessee defense, depending on how serious that injury is to D'Angelo Lloyd, the junior out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
You start getting into that defensive line. You've already lost Darwin Walker. Now you lose D'Angelo Lloyd. And for Philip Fulmer, you know, he made 6 different changes, or 5 changes, I should say, today. John Chavis right there. There's John Chavis. He's the defensive coordinator. That's a tough call to make those switches and have to play at the level of the SEC.
Well, they made 5 defensive changes, 1 offensive change with Travis Henry starting over Jamal Lewis, who we still haven't seen today, and probably won't see him. Travis Henry has been a one-man wrecking crew.
Oh, wow. That's as big a first quarter as I've seen in a long while.
5 penalties now for Tennessee for 34 yards.
Now the clock starts. They need to use their time and use it wisely. They still have 2 timeouts left.
First down and 5 situation for Kentucky. Pass complete over midfield. It's Derek Smith into Tennessee territory down to the 42.
Now they're in their hurry-up offense. Derek Smith playing tight end. He's playing in the slot. They move him out there. Dusty Bonner calls the play on the line of scrimmage. They're in their hurry-up. Still have a minute left. They still have those 2 timeouts, and they got 5 wideouts.
Over the middle again. Another first down. That is Bobby Blizzard.
Now I think what you want to do in this situation, use that timeout, and Kentucky does use one of their timeouts.
That's 4 catches now for Blizzard. Coming into this game, Blizzard had just 2 catches.
Let me tell you how big this is before half. I said if they can get a field goal, it would change the complexion. They'd have something to go in on. Bonner making good, quick, hot reads. Right there's Blizzard coming across, just dump it to him. We talked about how big he is. And he runs not like a man 6'7", 270. He runs like about a 240 wide out. And all of a sudden, Kentucky's getting a little bit of life.
Well, Kentucky's had a great year. There's no question about their excitement getting back to a bowl-eligible status. But, you know, in the big picture, Dave, if Kentucky was to win this football game, they would finish 2nd in the SEC East.
I know. That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. That's a big but.
That's, capital letters and all that. And Alabama needs a win against Auburn to clinch a spot in the SEC title game and a rematch with the Florida Gators. But Mississippi State still holding out some hope. They need to win their last 2, but a big test today against Arkansas. And, of course, they finish up with Ole Miss. I mean, that is a tough road by anybody's standard.
Well, Dave, you talk about momentum, the shifts and switches. What's happened is Dusty Bonner's doing a lot better job on his hot reads, quick reads. 11 of 19, 157 yards.
Bonner, once again, dodges a sack over the middle. Pyatt, his intended receiver, just missed it.
Boy, I thought for sure. I'll tell you, when Pyatt looks back, I think he wanted pass interference because he went up with his arms, and did his arms get hit? Another Tennessee player down. Andre Lott is down in the end zone. But watch when Pyatt goes up with those hands. Inside, he's got the position. Lott's with him. Now watch when he stretches right here. See if he doesn't make contact with his hands.
I think that was just a heck of a play by Lott.
I do too. When I look back, I think Lott went up with that left hand and just swatted the ball away. He limps off the field. Again, Lott, I think that was just a super play. Look here, watch Lott's left hand. Oh, did you see the right arm?
His right arm had some shoulder pad.
And look at Dusty Bonner. He wants the interference. Where's the flag? He turns around.
Looking back for Al Ford. Go out. Come on, that's your guy down there.
I think Lott just made a good play on it. Big down here. Got to keep it going. 39 seconds left.
Second down. No backs. Thompson comes off the end on a blitz. Pass caught. Picks up about 6. Derek Smith run out of bounds. That'll stop the clock with 34 seconds left.
Well, they still have one timeout left, so you can throw it over the middle. And 43 seconds, or 34 seconds, I should say, is a long time in this offense. You want to get a little bit closer for that field goal try. You want to go to the home run if you get a shot at it, but you have that timeout. Now what's Tennessee going to do? Are they going to come with the horses and try to put some pressure on or lay back into that nickel or dime defense?
Homer and White are your setbacks. They stay in the block. Homer slides out over the middle. Whalen got it at the 3-yard line.
Now they need to get that time. No, they're thinking about timeout, but the clock stops when they move the chains.
How about this guy, James Whalen?
How about that quarterback, Dusty Bonner, under pressure? He throws right where he thinks he's going to be. Boy, an old momentum has swung a little bit. Watch Dusty Bonner on pressure. Watch right here. Looks down, finally finds Whalen right there. Throws kind of off his back foot. There's Whalen. It's just going to be a post. Come back, break inside. You see him break to the left of your screen, into the post, over top of one defender. Great concentration for Whalen.
Well, Tennessee came out of the gates and looked like the best college football team ever assembled in the history of the sport.
Yeah, you said they dominated. Boy, I thought that was a great choice of words in that first quarter.
I might have understated it.
Yeah, right. Oh, wow.
But Kentucky, which has been their, I guess, something they kind of hung their hat on since Hal Mumme got here, is a team that won't quit.
No, they won't. They don't think they're out of this football game, and they're not if they can score here. A lot of pressure on Dusty Bonner. Don't make the wrong decision. If it's not there, throw it away. Stop the clock. Save as much time as you can. If you run for it, you better make it.
Bonner out to White. Cuts it inside. Touchdown, Wildcats. Anthony White with his second receiving touchdown this year. And Samuel with his point after makes this a 13-point football game with 20 seconds to play before halftime.
Well, a couple of really interesting things on that last play for the touchdown. First, the play of Dusty Bonner to look off Anthony White. He looked downfield, he looked in the middle of the field, and then at the last second, he came out to Anthony. You get the feeling your momentum is starting to switch here a little bit.
Leonard Scott lets it go through his legs.
Got to get it.
He's going to pick it up at the 2. Taken down at the 8 with 12 seconds on the clock, and I'm sure Tennessee will want to just put a knee on it and head to the locker room. Dave, that drive went 8 plays, 77 yards, a minute 35. That was quite impressive, but the big play, there was a face mask in there on 3rd down that gave him a first down at 5.
That was huge. That was really huge. Well, for Philip Fulmer and company, I mean, right now, Philip Fulmer a minute ago was at 27-0. They're coasting along. We're looking up the record books, and all of a sudden the momentum started to switch when Bonner started to find his wideouts and make those hot reads, and all of a sudden Kentucky is back in this football game. It's amazing what you can do with a dry football in rainy weather when their defenders are slipping.
Comes down to a running game. My eyes are on Tennessee. Just a moment ago, Greg Bowser caught up with Kentucky head coach Hal Mumme.
Coach, first came out in the first quarter, and Tennessee looked like they were just doing whatever they wanted to. They did anything different to you?
Oh, no, we were kind of nervous. We threw a couple of interceptions. They're just a great team. I'm proud of our guys. They're scratching and clawing, kind of got us back in the second quarter.
when you got in the second quarter, looks like offensively you made some adjustments and began to move the football.
Yeah, Dusty he missed some reads early in the game, and you know, we shut us down, but we did a lot better in the second quarter. Hopefully we can do it again this quarter.
How big was that last drive for momentum?
Oh, huge. Our guys, I'm really proud of them. They really hung in there and did a good job. So we're back in it. We just got to go play hard this quarter.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Well, Tennessee comes out. Oh. Travis Henry takes about 9 Wildcat defenders on a little ride.
Did you see where he was hit? He was hit on the 40-yard line. They're going to mark it there. Snedeker was in there. There were several in there. Wiggins was in there. He just carried them about almost 5 yards. And I think if you're Philip Fulmer and company, you turn around and say, hey, get right back to what they did so well in that first quarter, and that's run the football.
162 yards, 63 and 64 for Henry, and a first down. Derek Tatum tripped him up. Well, T. Martin had some big passes early and some big conversions, but down the stretch he started misfiring, and his receivers dropped a few passes. Finished with 100 yards. Bonner with 186, but 2 interceptions, and both of those, I think one was a weak throw. The ball kind of hung in the air, and the other one was right into the hand of Raynoch Thompson.
And for Dusty Bonner, he completed, you saw that one stat, 12 of his last 15. It's when you're getting sharp.
Henry, one of his smaller gains of the day, a couple of yards across midfield. Marlon McCree, who we didn't think would come back, is starting the second half and makes the stop.
Boy, and this is the tone setter. If you've been in Tennessee's locker room, they said go back out there, offensive line, establish the run. If you're in the defensive huddle, they're over there saying, hey, we got to stop them first series, get it back for the offense. They've got momentum.
This is perfect. Bud Ford, Sports Information Director of Tennessee, told me yesterday, he says it's not a Tennessee-Kentucky game unless it's cold and rainy, snowy, or something. Henry stopped, loses a yard.
Boy, Patrick Wiggins really came up on the play. He's what ran him sideways. Wiggins, number 29, really comes up, Dave, and makes a good hit on the outside of here. Run him wide, right there. You see now, keep those hands on him. Don't let him go.
Well, Dave, Wiggins, player of the week last year defensively because he had 7 tackles, 2 for loss, an interception, 1 forced fumble. It was his first start in Division I football.
And he's got 5 tackles today.
Shotgun on 3rd and 8.
Oh, a lot of time.
Martin.
Boy, that was close to being an interception again by Wiggins, number 29.
Well, I couldn't even tell who had it.
Well, I think the receiver had it, but when he went down, the ball got pulled out there. I think Wiggins got a hand in it. Watch 29, just to the right of your screen right there. You're going to see him come in here, right there. Now look, right in there. See him get the hand out? Oh, that ball came close to being intercepted.
A little different scenario than the beginning of the game.
Boy, here comes Kentucky. They're coming after him.
Shank comes back to return the punt. He stands at his own 10, calls for the fair catch, lets it bounce into the end zone, and Kentucky will have it at their 20-yard line. Well, Dave, in Rose Rewind, here's what you thought had to happen in the second half. I would be interested to see what you think.
Well, first of all, for Tennessee, reestablish the run.
I might be the only guy, by the way.
No. But reestablish the run. And then the second one, keep pressure on. They had great pressure on Dusty Bonner in the first half. For Kentucky, keep up the momentum and dust off Dusty, because Dusty was 12 of his last 15.
I'll agree with you on those.
Well, thank you. You know, and I thought that first quarter statement by you that Tennessee dominated, I thought it was very bright.
Pass over the middle, nearly caught by Bobby Blizzard, but slipped on this field.
That was an interesting pass. He just tried to float it over the defender. I wondered if it got tipped. The way that ball went, it just kind of floated over there. Fouls right here. See if it doesn't. It might have gotten tipped right on the line of scrimmage there. It was a floater.
Chris Hatcher in the visor, working with his head coach, Hal Mumme. Chris Hatcher working with Dusty Bonner, quarterback coach. Stutter step by Watt. Across the 30, first down Kentucky, and there's a little bit of a running game. Fred White brings him down.
And we talked about that inverted wishbone that Kentucky was going to use as another Tennessee player gets hurt.
And that is Sessions. That is another linebacker, Dave.
Oh, boy. That really hurts. They've lost Westmoreland. They've lost Darwin Walker. Now they lose Anthony Sessions. But on that play, watch this. This is that inverted wishbone. They give it the ball to Anthony White, and gosh, he makes a great cut right at the line about a yard before he gets through, and then picks up 10 yards on the run. Makes an excellent. He's got great vision in the hole. That's what's going to make him just a great football player as he steps up the next level.
Boy, Sessions, losing him will be hurt. I mean, it's
5 defensive changes, and
Anthony White to the outside, just shy of midfield at the 47. Kentucky moving the football.
And I can tell you there's a lot of concern at Tennessee's side of the field. Just a straight crossing pattern right here. You're going to see just come straight across right in there. Underneath coverage. Now it's just a foot race to get out here to the outside. Gives a good stiff arm right here on Allen and picks up that first down. And all of a sudden, Kentucky has done what they had to do. They have come back out and reestablished that momentum.
5 wide receivers in the game. Bonner slips but steps forward. It's about 5. Tripped up on the play by Raynoch Thompson, his 3rd stop of the game.
Now what he's trying to do there is stop the defensive rush. That's a quarterback draw. It's designed off the snap. That's not just an improv where he just decides to run. What he does is he's trying to slow down that rush. And I'm not so sure that I don't see Dusty Bonner limping a little bit.
It will take a lot more than a bad ankle to get Dusty off this football field. I can tell you that much.
Oh, he's a tough kid. I touched him yesterday. I said, "You sore? You taking a lot of hits?" No, I'm not sore. He wouldn't tell you if he was. Well, I saw him flinch there. That may have been Matt Brown, the offensive tackle, who flinched on the call.
Of the offense. 5 yards, still 2nd down.
Boy, that hurts when you're set up with 2nd and 5, and now you're at 2nd and 10. That changes your whole thought process and thinking. Kentucky cheerleaders in good form, national champions. I guess 8 or 9 national championships those Wildcat cheerleaders have won.
5 wideouts again, no blocking backs. This is pure Dusty Bonner.
Dusty gets a couple of yards, and
I don't believe this. There's another Tennessee player down. I'm not sure. I see that. I think it was Sean Ellis who got up late. Now he's running off with his shoulder, his right shoulder hanging down.
Sean Ellis, 26 tackles. 10 of those have been for loss this year. He also leads the team with 12 quarterback hurries and 275-pounder.
What I saw him do was he grabbed Bonner by the back and may have just kind of hurt that shoulder, that right shoulder a little bit. We'll keep on a watch on him.
3rd down and 8. Just shy of midfield. Bonner with some time. Pass is high.
And that ball flew off his hands. That ball completely slipped off Dusty Bonner's hands. You can see by the way it went out there, it just floated out there, and by the time it got there, the 2 defensive backs. Again, let's watch right here. See if it doesn't slip off his hands when he throws it. This is not a rope. This is a flutter ball. Again, there's Bobby Blizzard. He's just going to do a curl right at the 1st down. Now he's open right now, and see how long the ball takes to get there.
Well, here we are at midfield.
How many times have we seen Hal Mummy go for it here?
See what he has in store. They'll punt it away. Andy Smith with a line drive kick. Taken by Parker at the 20. Tripped up at the 30. That's a dangerous punt to a dangerous return man. So on a rainy afternoon in Lexington, Tennessee still leads Kentucky by 13. They can move the ball against Tennessee, but now it's the Wildcat defense trying to slow down this guy, Travis Henry, who only gets a couple. And on the last series, Kentucky basically found a way, forcing Tennessee to punt.
Yes, they did. They got to Travis Henry early. They got to him in the hole. You see there, stuff for about a yard. Then they come up here and make a tackle for about a yard loss. And then Patrick Wiggins steps up on a good pass block. So their defense has really stepped up their play. Again, run them out of bounds, 2 yards. It's a different Tennessee rushing game in this second half. First quarter was incredible. All of a sudden, the lights have kind of gone out a little bit.
Martin going up top looking for Martin. And Martin turned around and pushed Kenneth Grant right in the chest, and the crowd wanted a flag. Obviously, they didn't get it.
Well, those defensive corners, they always want flags. But he may be justified right here because right in there was a push-off. You see him right away. He looks at the official. Look, he pushed me off. The official makes a no call.
And probably a good decision. I don't think anybody was going to catch that football, so no harm, no foul.
Yeah, exactly. Rather not throw a flag than throw a flag in that situation. Another one of them big third downs, and this crowd's a lot more into it now.
Martin now 5 or 15 for 100 yards.
Here comes a blitz.
And Martin goes down, a loss of 4.
It might have been McCree on the outside on the blitz, number 30, and Massey in the middle. But they, you know, Marlon McCree, I thought he was out of this football game, number 30. But he comes from the outside. He gets blocked, but gets off his block. Top of your screen, coming around the outside. T. Martin sees him. He's got to step up, and there you see Massey. He runs right into number 97, Massey.
There's McCree and Stewart.
Oh, they're having fun on defense now.
Shanklin back to return the punt of Leverton. It's a high kick. Nice kick. Shanklin will take it at the 22. Shanklin hit pretty hard about the 27 by Will Bartholomew.
Boy, that was not a good series for Tennessee. They didn't reestablish the run. They were not able to get a first down. They put the pressure right back on their defense.
The announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports. This broadcast is a copyright presentation. Any use of this broadcast without the express permission of the Southeastern Conference and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited.
Ooh, pretty forceful there, buddy.
Last time I get to say that in 1999. I got to get my point across.
That's right. Emphatic. Comes an audible on the line by Dusty Bonner. Clock's ticking down.
4, 3, 2, gets it off in time. Blizzard was the intended receiver and never even looked inside. That is an inexperienced player.
Yeah. Blizzard, of course, playing behind, but getting an opportunity here to show a little bit of that offensive ability. They're really counting on him next year. Al Mummy looks up to the clock and says, hey, there's a lot of time left in this football game. What they have to do is continue Dusty Bonner making those hot reads. In other words, reading if he's got pressure and the middle is open, reading what the wide receiver, which one's open.
Bonner 15 of 27, 2 interceptions. A couple of touchdown strikes as well. Under pressure, taken down at the 22-yard line by John Henderson. His second sack of the season and his fourth tackle of the game.
And Henderson never quits. He's right there in the middle of your screen. Look at him. Fight, 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 fight. He breaks off 2 blocks. That's just great ability. He's against Josh Parrish and Nolan Devon. He just keeps on pushing in there. And I'll tell you, he really stepped up. When Ratliff got hurt, John Henderson made a great contribution to this defense of Tennessee.
Another illegal substitution. 12 guys in the huddle.
Can't do that.
And that looked like Derek Smith, 43, who was late leaving the...
12 men again, 5-yard penalty.
Exactly. There's T. Martin. Checking out the scoreboard. Here we go, T. Clemson.
Hey, South Carolina still in that one.
North Carolina hurting Duke.
Virginia Tech hurting Temple.
Yeah, Virginia Tech knows that they need a big win, and they're playing for a national title. Tied up in Ann Arbor, 17-17. Purdue and Indiana in the third. That's a good one. Time for Bonner, who finds White. Trying to get outside, gets to the 26. Still a yard shy of the original line of scrimmage. Raynoch Thompson with his 4th tackle. And a player is down, and let's see who it is. Everybody seems to be all right. That's
No, there's one down.
Andre James.
There's another one down on the 20-yard line, Dave.
And that's Raynoch Thompson.
Oh, boy.
My goodness.
Did you see how quickly the Kentucky trainers went over to him? He's all the way over on Kentucky's side. Before the Tennessee trainers could get over there, the Kentucky trainers ran right to him.
You lose Westmoreland, perhaps your best cover guy in the linebacking core. Raynoch Thompson, maybe your best player on your football team.
And you make 5 changes on defense. Think John Chavis had any sleep this week? Couldn't have.
But this is why you compete for national championships, because you're 2 and 3 deep.
Exactly. A lot of talent on this Tennessee team.
And I was interested. I was interested to see how Tennessee would come out today, Dave, simply because you know that they started this season wanting a national championship. Last week, that was taken from them. Yep. What do you play for? You know, I mean, you could say for a BCS Bowl, but these guys wanted the prize.
Yes, they did. They wanted the prize, but they've got a lot of pride. I mean, they're all winners. They all came from tremendous high school programs and came here and have had tremendous success. T. Martin, what, 20-2 as a starter? I mean, just incredible success. And when you get wounded and you get your feathers ruffled like they did last week, let me tell you, you come out like they did, of course, in the first quarter.
Yeah. There's the Butkus finalist list, and you see Raynoch Thompson up there with a couple of guys from, what is that, Penn State?
State Penn. No, Penn State. I'm sorry.
Dave Rose, alma mater.
Well, it's good to see Raynoch Thompson up running around. I don't know if that's running, but it was good to see him back up.
Team leader in tackles. 4th down. Kentucky will punt it away. It's a wobbly kick. Fair catch. Good field position now for Tennessee at their own 41. And the Vol offense has struggled here to open the second half. But they still lead by 13.
Yeah, it ain't a Tennessee-Kentucky game unless it rains, huh? I hadn't heard that.
T. Martin will run it to midfield and get popped by 2 or 3 Wildcat defenders. The first guy on the spot, Marlon McCree, the man with 4.4 speed. Well, Tennessee started this game pretty much as maybe the best offense ever assembled.
Yeah,
214 yards in the first quarter, but have since resembled a I would say a mediocre offense.
Yeah, very, very mediocre. Look at that second quarter. That's when they allowed Kentucky to get back in this football game. And the third quarter has just been a continuation.
Handoff to Minor.
Wow.
Boy, a collision right at the first down line.
Wow, that was a stick.
Patrick Wiggins sticks his head right into Travis Henry. And everybody's okay.
Everybody gets up. This is what it's like to play. You like to carry? Watch this. Bam! Look at that. Just keep on hitting. That's Patrick Wiggins in there, number 29. We all know what Travis Henry can run like.
There's Smokey.
Oh, what a pretty dog. I thought I'd say that just for you, since I don't make references to dogs very often.
When you do, it's usually...
Oh, yeah, I know.
Snedeker on Martin. He gets away. Finally taken down at midfield. But Jeff Snedeker had a clean shot and Martin wouldn't go down.
Boy, that's something you don't see often. Jeff Snedeker miss a tackle. He's going to come around. He's going to come around left. Watch this right here. He's coming around right there. Look at him. Boom. He's got him, right? No, he doesn't. Oh, George Massey cleans up for him, but Snedeker gets up and goes, holy mackerel, how did I miss that one? He's still talking to himself.
One of the toughest individuals I've ever met.
Oh, he's great. You love to watch players like that. Raynoch Thompson's the same type of player. Al Wilson was the same kind of player last year.
Martin goes down, pass, batted in the air, nearly picked off by Anthony Wajda. Intended receiver was Eric Booker, but Wajda laid out in a desperate attempt to pick it off and fell just a foot or two shy.
Well, a couple things that Mike Major's defense for Kentucky has done is they're getting much more pressure on Tennessee. When T. Martin sits back there, he's got to go in a hurry.
Timeout taken by Tennessee on a big 3rd down and 13 from midfield. We will come back, find out what the Vols will do after a word from your local stations.
Watch Kentucky put the pressure, see if T. Martin's got the time to throw it.
He goes up top. He's got his man Parker. And a pass interference will be called at the 2. Derek Tatum was beat on the play badly.
Tatum had no choice on that play. He was so beaten on the play. That had touchdown written all over it. Watch Tatum, left of your screen. He's right there. He's beaten now. Now it's just a foot race, and the only reason he catches up is because the ball is thrown so high. Nothing to do with it.
And that might have something to do with it.
That was, I think that was pass interference. I could have called that one.
However, it's only going to be a penalty that takes the ball to the 35-yard line. So not a devastating penalty by any stretch.
Well, and not a touchdown either, but it was a first down.
1st and 10 now from the 35 of the Wildcats. It's Henry met in the hole by Wajda. Travis Henry today having a 173, 178 yard afternoon, something in that ballpark, simply because Jamal Lewis hasn't played a snap today.
Well, they're trying to get a little rest in Jamal with that bad shoulder and that bad ankle. 180 yards, 8.2 yards.
He would tie a Tennessee record if he could pick up another rushing touchdown today. He already has 3.
I'll tell you what happened on that play. Kentucky just gambled, and they gambled right. They blocked every hole that time. They came on a stunt. It was actually a run blitz, and everybody came in here. Watch when he gets the ball. There's no place to run. You're just running into people. Look at the number of blue shirts. They guessed. George Massey comes down with it. They guessed right. Now they need to stop. 3rd down.
There's Mike Major, defensive coordinator.
Watch T. Martin. Boy, can he run with the football. Put a lot of pressure on you. There he's running.
Quarterback draw. Martin's got it and then some. 1st down, Tennessee tripped up by George Massey, but way too late. Well,
you've got to think T. Martin running the football. He's so effective bringing that football down. Tennessee coming on the blitz, get a lot of pressure on him. I mean, I should say Kentucky coming on the blitz. Tennessee makes that little seam for him. T. Martin finds it. And you have to figure for that. I mean, you got to come hard trying to get that pass rush, but you almost have to spy one person to not allow your quarterback to step up.
Martin rolls out, has his man inside the 10. David Martin, touchdown Tennessee. Martin's 2nd touchdown reception of the season, and Tennessee makes it a 33-14 football game.
Well, what made that play work was tremendous ball fake. The fake to Travis Henry just drew everybody that way. Watch this. Everybody's looking at Henry right there. He places it in, carries that ball, and then comes out on that naked boot. And there was nobody near him. Everybody had gone to Travis Henry.
And Tennessee will go for 2. Martin rolls out. Will he get to the end zone? Yes. And it's 35-14.
Boy, T. Martin just takes that ball, and he has no idea of passing. He's just going to run straight all the way into the end zone. And Philip Fulmer, he's got to rest a little easier.
On 3rd down and 13, kept the drive alive, and Tennessee able to convert. Shanklin takes it about 8 yards deep, and will signal for the touchback, and Kentucky had the wind just taken out of their sails. The Domino's Bowl Blitz sweepstakes ended this week. Someone won an all-expense-paid trip to 4 college football bowl games in 5 days, including the national championship game on January 4th, 2000, which will be in New Orleans. We'll announce that winner at the beginning of the 4th quarter, so stay tuned. That touchdown pass by T that went 21 yards was actually his first completion of the 2nd half. Bonner trying to complete a pass. Does so. It's Derek Smith, tied in. Fred White on the coverage, runs him out of bounds after a gain of about 3 or 4 yards.
And Dave, a lot of times when you think 14 points, you think, well, that's a lot. It's a big lead. Or I should say 21 points. Not with this Kentucky team. They're a team that can come back and they can sting you real fast. They need to stay with their offense. For Tennessee, let's stay with that defense. Let those big guys get off the ball. Let them rush hard, get that pressure back on, and play center field. A lot of pressure right now on Deion Grant, the center fielder.
Shankman has some blockers. First down to the 39-yard line. Ball is loose. Does Tennessee have it?
They
do.
And Shanklin said he was down.
Mickey Allen with the fumble recovery. Mickey getting the start today. Comes up with the fumble recovery.
And that's what you want to do if you're on defense. You want to rip the football out. This is a little slip screen now. He gets a lot of extra yards once he makes contact right in here. But Tennessee rips the football out. Now, is he down? No. That ball is out.
Wayne Goodrich is the one who stripped it.
Good play. That's heads-up play. And I'll tell you, that's great coaching when you teach that second guy to get in there and rip that football out. And they clearly pulled that ball out.
That was just Tennessee's second fumble recovery in the last 6.5 games. Ontario Smith on that cover. That's been an area Tennessee has struggled with of late. They'd intercepted 11 passes in the first 4 games, but in the last 5, only 4 interceptions. They have 2 today, and they just recovered their second fumble in the last 6.5 football games. So maybe Tennessee has found their defense.
Well, big series here, both for both sides. For Tennessee, because if you put it, you can put it away right now.
Martin goes up top. Dante Stallworth down to the 6-inch line. Tatum on the coverage.
Great speed by Dante Stallworth. They really liked when he came in, just a freshman last week. When he came in last week, they really liked his play. And T. Martin just throws a strike here. It's a streak. Look at that great concentration. A flash in front of his face. Doesn't take his eyes. Tatum has him one-on-one. Tatum puts a hand up. But again, good concentration by Stallworth to look that ball in.
Quarterback sneak. Touchdown, T. Martin. With his 9th rushing touchdown of the year. And folks, Tennessee has blown this wide open with 44 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. His 16th career rushing touchdown, the all-time leader in Tennessee football history. Alex Ball's point after is up and good. And now it's a 42-14 football game.
This is kind of the Tennessee team that we expected to see. The Tennessee team in that first quarter. Just a big man on big man right here. And T. Martin just drives in there. Just love getting behind those big linemen. Cozy Coleman, Fred Weary, Spencer Riley, Josh Tucker. Big hosses. There they are. That's Fred Weary, 70. 52 is Cozy Coleman. Look at him. Yeah. Look at Jamal. Jamal Lewis is over there. He hasn't played a play. His uniform it's tied clean. Look how clean it is. Look at the big guys. They're having a good time celebrating. That's Josh Tucker there in that last 77. He's the only senior. No, they have 3 seniors, I should say, on that offensive line. Riley, Clifton, and Josh Tucker.
Shankman from the goal line. Shankman out to the 24, 23-yard line. Eric Edmonds on the special teams tackle. Return of 24 yards for Kendrick. And here comes Dusty Bonner. This team with 34 seconds to go, 33 seconds to go before halftime. Trying to get it untracked. Defense, I think, Dave, in the beginning of this third quarter had 2 stops, should have had third stop, gave this offense an opportunity, and the offense just couldn't do anything.
Well, exactly right. I think if Kentucky had been able to score on one of those 2 stops to start this third quarter, I think it would have been a lot different ball game. But when you fumble the football, you give it to Tennessee, they make you pay for it.
Especially in your own territory. And there's Brad Pyatt, the true freshman. Teddy Gaines on the stop. Pyatt also with banged up, not 100% today. One of these wide receivers that, I mean, it is incredible the amount of injuries suffered by the wide receiving core for Kentucky this year. I mean, everybody suffers injuries, but to lose 6 guys since the beginning of the season.
Well, Dougie Allen really hurt him. That was the first one. Then, of course, this week Quentin McCord went down.
The big play man, Quentin, 18 receptions, 6 touchdowns on those 18 catches. You like to have a guy like that on the field. Well, Tennessee's opened this one up, 42-14.
I think some fans in blue have left, but none in orange.
Blitz is on. Flags go a-flying. 2 seconds on the play clock, so that's not the issue.
No, that has to be an offensive lineman flinch. Almost has to be, or else they got into the neutral zone, but looks like it's going to be an offensive.
Before the ball was snapped, movement by the offense, 5 yards.
Here's a look at our Jefferson Pilot stats through 3 quarters.
It's interesting. Look at the yardage, 367.
The work I enjoy.
Here, sounds like you're on a roll.
Network management, another solution with Bell South know-how.
Beginning of the 4th quarter in our final SEC Bell South game of the week. 42-14, Tennessee on top of Kentucky. Kentucky facing a 2nd down and 8.
I think some fans in blue have left, but none in orange.
Blitz is on. Flags go a-flying. 2 seconds on the play clock, so that's not the issue.
No, that has to be an offensive lineman flinch. Almost has to be, or else they got into the neutral zone, but looks like it's going to be an offensive.
Before the ball was snapped, movement by the offense, 5 yards.
Here's a look at our Jefferson Pilot stats through 3 quarters.
It's interesting. Look at the yardage, 367 to 306. You think we were in a tight football game, but Kentucky did not take they didn't take advantage of the opportunities they were given. Tennessee, they just continue to dominate.
That Travis Henry grab, I should say, 179, not 79. He had 79 about 13 minutes on the clock in the 1st quarter. Bonner takes it down to about the 33-yard line and then gets popped from behind. Fred White on the stop. Picked up about 10 yards, going to be a few yards shy of the 1st down. It'll be 2nd down, 3rd down and 2.
And what's interesting, they're going no huddle. 14 minutes, 33 seconds left. Kentucky going no huddle. See, they have this mentality that they don't think they're out of a football game. They're down by a ton. They don't think they're out of it. It's a nice mentality to have.
Bonner scrambles.
And gets the 1st.
That'll be very close. See if they move those chains. They will stop the clock. Dusty is down, rolling around in pain.
I think he fell on the football.
And Tennessee players showing good sportsmanship, telling the Kentucky trainers, medical staff, get on the field. Your guy's down, and they're out there in a hurry.
Well, Nolan Devon also was down that time, the center. Number 57. I can promise you he didn't fall on the ball. He's just one of those sophomores. And I think if you look at Kentucky, you try to find things to build around next year, that offensive line has played really well for them this year. Lost all 5 starters last year.
Well, Dave, they got a sophomore, freshman, a sophomore, and a junior. And all 5 of these guys are brand new, as you mentioned, but they've played every single offensive snap this year.
Except this one. Watch, Devon's not in there. See?
No, he might.
Everyone except this one, buddy. But you're
Well,
right.
it hasn't happened yet.
Oh, okay. Good point. Okay. Now.
Whalen, only the 3rd time this season a ball has hit him and he hadn't caught it.
Gosh. You know, it's interesting. We were talking with Hal Mummy yesterday. We were talking about different drills they do. That tennis ball thing that he told us about was incredible. They go into a room and they have a tennis ball. They shoot tennis balls at the wide receivers. And they have to put their hands together, and it's coming out of there about 60 miles an hour. He said that Whalen can walk almost up and take it right off the nozzle. Of course, they've had a few fallouts, too.
One fella got hit a few times. Pass is complete to Smith across midfield to the 48. Missed tackle by Fred White allowed him to get across midfield.
Derek Smith, another one of those big tight ends, 6'6", 240, 245, little crossing pattern right here. Look at this, take a ride for 8 or 9 yards. He's just going to run over top. See Tennessee trying to rip the football out of there? Good coaching.
Deion Grant also in on the play. 5 wideouts from the Tennessee 48. Bonner. Dusty has turned into a running back today. Raynoch Thompson on the tackle. That's 5 for Raynoch today. Unofficially also has an interception. Sleep in scoreboard. Clemson 12 points better than South Carolina right now in the 3rd quarter. North Carolina all over Duke. May have saved Carl Torbush's job. We don't know yet, obviously, but see if that win goes a long way.
I think that may be over. I hate to say that. He's a wonderful person, but I think his tenure at North Carolina is over.
Hard to rebound from a permanent loss. Hard to rebound from a couple of Tennessee white jerseys right in your face.
You talk about running over.
John Henderson.
John Henderson, he just swooped him. It's like Dusty Bonner just bumped into John Henderson. 6'7", 280. Watch him. Number 98. Rolls back here as Bonner tries to step up. Watch here. Boom, it's just a big orange wave.
Don't envy Dusty Bonner one bit. 2nd sack today, by the way, for Mr. Henderson, and I will call him Mr. for the rest of the day. 4 sacks today. Last week, goose egg. Good play from the front 4. Tennessee. Pass batted in the air. They had Anthony White. D'Angelo Lloyd is the one who tipped it.
I'll tell you, if Anthony White had been able to catch this football, he's going to take a little crossing pattern. He was going to go a long way. D'Angelo Lloyd is one who gets the hands up. See right there, 99. Watch this. Up high. Good tip. But right behind him was Anthony White. He would have caught that on a crossing pattern, and he would have run a long way.
Anthony White.
4th down, go for it.
Running off the field on this 4th down and 8 from the 45. Shotgun formation. Fourth and 8. Bonner has time. He'll kick it to the outside, and he won't get it.
Oh, no, just short.
He had to get down to the 37 and a half. And he was stopped at about the 39. Derek Edmonds is the one who stopped him.
Boy, and Whalen was really upset that time. Don't know if he was upset at Bonner, but he was upset. A lot of time right here. He's got time to step up in the pocket. Look. All of a sudden, he bails out right here. He's got people chasing him. He's trying to get to the outside. Just comes up about a yard or 2 short.
The Volunteer Band has played more than its fair share of Rocky Top today.
Guard.
Yeah, I'm not the far.
Uh-oh. Watch out.
Ontario Smith, the true freshman. He will go 61 yards. His first career rushing touchdown.
This play is designed to go strong side in about the 7-hole or 8-hole to the outside. He cuts all the way back against the grain. Tremendous vision. Great look in there. It's going to go this way. He goes all the way back against the grain. Just a great vision into the hole. Now it's just a foot race. Nobody's going to catch the freshman. Untouched. That's what they call him. Untouched. Nobody gets close to him.
Alex Walls it 49-14. Ontario Smith out of Sacramento, California, matches Travis Henry with a 61-yard TD. 22 straight points for Tennessee. They started the game with 27 straight. Here's Shanklin again on a kickoff return. It's to the 15. Shanklin on the return. Now it's time to take a look at the BMW Ultimate Drive of the game. Brought to you by, of course, BMW, the ultimate driving machine. This play fake to Travis Henry, brilliantly performed, resulted in a David Martin 21-yard touchdown reception. The drive went 8 plays, 58 yards, took exactly 4 minutes, and that is our BMW Ultimate Drive of the game. The last drive took 14 seconds.
I was going to say there's been a bunch of ultimate drives in this football game, and Tennessee's been on the receiving end. That first quarter was as good a first quarter as I've seen in football.
Bonner on a quarterback draw takes it to the 30. First down, Wildcats. And it was amazing. They came out and totally dominated every aspect of this football game in the first quarter.
Well, Kentucky went 3 and out, 3 series in a row, and virtually the game was just about over at that point. They just rolled up the score. Travis Henry, what, 127 yards or something in the first quarter?
Yeah. There's their rushing yards today, 273 to 108. One note, number 32 for Kentucky, Anthony White, needs 23 yards receiving. And there he is with the football. He picks up.
Gets 10 there.
10, and now he needs about 13. The flag is down.
The flag's down behind the play.
13 yards to become just one of 3 players with 1,500 yards.
Face mask against the defense, 5 yards. Added on the end of the run, first down.
1,500 yards receiving and 1,500 yards rushing. So keep an eye on that. Let's check in with Greg Bowser.
Well, number 57, Nolan Devon for Kentucky, the center, hurt his left shoulder. I think it's a bruise, and he probably will not return to this ball game.
First member of this offensive line to miss some snaps, Aaron Daniel. Number 58 moves over to the center spot. On his pass, batted down. Judd grinds out, bats it away.
Now, you did say that White needed receiving yards, right? That
13 receiving yards. He has over 1,700 career rushing yards. Al Mummy, seems like the last year and a half always up for jobs around the country. Well, turned down, basically took his name out of the picture for any job this year. And well, Kentucky rewarded him with a 2-year extension, which takes his contract now up to 6 years here in Lexington. Pass picked off the line of scrimmage. D'Angelo Lloyd inside the 30. Bonner brings him down at the 26-yard line.
They were going to Anthony White. They were just going to dump it over. And, I mean, it just hit him right in the hand. You talk about soft hands. D'Angelo Lloyd, 6'5", 260. Watch him. He just sets right up there in front of him. They were going to dump it over top. Look at that. That's a marvelous catch for a defensive lineman. Now he fumbles and then falls right back on it. And again, picks it right back up.
Is that a fumble recovery, too?
I guess you have to call it that.
Turnovers today have been devastating. 4 for Kentucky. As Joey Matthews, the redshirt freshman, comes in at quarterback for this Tennessee team. Joey hands off to Ontario Smith. Joey on the year, 2 of 3 for 31 yards. No TDs, no interceptions. T's numbers weren't great, but I think in the first quarter, he had some huge individual plays, whether it was running for a first down or making a brilliant pass play.
Well, I'll tell you, you're absolutely right. You know the number that really impresses me with T. Martin? What is it, 21-2 now?
It'll be 21-2 as a starter. Correct.
That is outstanding. That's the number.
Matthews goes up top, overthrows his receiver, who barrels right into the goalpost. That's Dante Stallworth now.
Talk about a near miss. That was a near miss.
Well, in your day, they used to be out at the goal
line. On the goal line, sure did. That's why they moved him back, because they had too many near hits. Look at this, stretching out and comes down and just avoids. Oh, ouch, that would have hurt. Again, stretches out there, gets a hand on the ball, and just kind of turns that left shoulder up. I guess you call that a nick. I remember seeing Carroll Dale run into one, and the goalpost shook. Must have shook for about the rest of the half. Actually, the defensive backs in my day used to run the wide receivers into them.
Well, that's sportsmanlike. Pass incomplete, intended. Bernie Vesey out of South Haven, Florida.
Now, do you kick a field goal, or do you go for it on 4th down? I don't see the field goal unit coming out here.
4th and 12. Hey, the Raiders never did that kind of stuff, running guys.
Well, you know what they said one time? Well,
come on, Raiders back in that day.
We were America's team.
Yeah. Finish that statement.
Yeah. No.
Oh, mercy.
The only person on our crew could play for him is Todd Minhinnett, our associate director. He could play for him, our associate producer. He's tough. Got a low base. He's nasty in the seat there.
Joey Matthews calls a timeout. Now Mummy wishes he could wipe this game from his memory. Philip Fulmer happy. Matthews looking at a 4th down and 12. Matthews gets hog-tied. Flags go a-flying. Now it looks like that'll be a personal foul against.
I don't know about that. I'm wondering whether it was a face mask, but I don't think it's personal foul. I mean, I don't care if you tackle him around the neck. That's not. Now, if it's a face mask, that's something different, but you don't get a personal foul for tackling around the neck.
Jeez, Dave.
Gosh, I mean, hey,
wow.
Wait a minute.
Golly.
This is a face mask.
Holding on the offense. Incidental face mask on the defense.
Incidental. See?
Replay the 4th down.
Well, golly, this is a defensive game. They ain't wearing skirts out there. No.
It looked violent, though.
I want to tell you, that's a little bit more than incidental.
Joey's all right, and we'll replay the down.
Tough kid.
12.
Tough kid.
Complete. Fumble. Ball's loose at the 10. Who has it?
Kentucky.
Wildcats. Patrick Wiggins caused the fumble.
Well, nice step up right here. That steps up in the pocket, finds his wide receiver. Look at Wiggins, 29. Get in there. Oh, he didn't do much of a rip out there. I think the receiver just lost the ball. Because Wiggins gets on this hand here. You can see that he never gets to put the football away.
Ooh, big hit there at the end of that play, too. Goodness, that could have been a flag against Tennessee. Jared Tate comes up with a fumble recovery. That's good news for him. He's had a kind of a rough go of it today. Whalen hops over a Tennessee player at the 19, across the 20-yard line. And let's take a look at those BCS standings, Dave, and kind of set the stage for what has to happen. Of course, Florida State, Florida going at it.
See that big lump in the middle, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah. Virginia Tech, big winners today, put up 62 points on Temple. Tennessee certainly doesn't hurt their chances today. No, Alabama got to take on Auburn. And the key number is the SEC needs 2 teams in the top 6 in that BCS standings. Pass is picked off. Deion Grant with his 7th interception of the season. He came in 4th in the NCAA.
Well, they call it closing speed, Dave, and that's exactly what he does on the play. Grant, number 7, is playing center field, looking at the quarterback's eyes. You see Bonner never take his eyes off. Look at Grant, just gets that hand. He actually got one hand in.
Great catch.
What a pull-out. Look at Dusty Bonner. Upset with himself, but what a catch. That is absolutely an incredible catch by Deion Grant. He got one hand in there.
4 interceptions today for Dusty Bonner. Remember, he came in with 8, and
I made him name them yesterday.
Well, I don't think he's going to want to name. I don't think he's going to want to name these.
No, but actually, you said it was only actually 5. I want to tell you a concern I have right now. I'd like to see Anthony White get those yardage to become only that third player. I think it's third, is it? Or
he would become the third
player to do that. That's quite a tribute to a young man who's given an awful lot to Kentucky football.
Darren Nelson, Brad Muster, both of Stanford are the other two players with 1,500 yards receiving and rushing. Smith takes it inside the 15 with 7:45 to go in the fourth quarter. Anthony Wajda on the stop. Anthony, a great success story. David Johnson played back at the safety spot, broke his jaw at the beginning of this year. I mean, within a few snaps of the opening of this season, and Anthony Wajda was expected to be a backup. He gets the start, and he has been really a solid player. 5 interceptions this year. He has a couple of fumble recoveries, 62 total tackles coming into this game, which was third on the team. And 4 times this year, he's had 8 tackles. Joey Lewis on the quarterback sneak.
Well, again, 7 minutes in the game. You know that Kentucky is going to get the football again. And you want to see Anthony White get that catch. But right now, it's Tennessee's time to run the football. Well, look at there. South Carolina coming back, trying to win that in-state rivalry. Had only scored, what, 4 touchdowns this year? Scored 3 in this game.
Matthews pitches it. Jamal White with a big stop behind the line of scrimmage. 47, Jamal White, one of these young athletic linebackers, sophomore out of Cincinnati.
You got a lot of pride on this Kentucky team, a lot of pride on the Tennessee team. I think Tennessee's pride showed when they came out in the beginning of this football game and rolled the way they did, then came out and just reestablished it. For Kentucky, they haven't quit all day long. They thought they've been in this football game. There's their defensive leader, Jeff Snedeker. He doesn't sit down very often on defense.
Smith down to the 2. Grant stopped him just shy of the goal line.
Boy, you talk about a hole in the line. Watch this hole right here. Point of attack, they drive down inside, collapse them. I mean, good night. There's a lot of guys could run through that hole. About half our crew could run through that hole at the same time.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
We got a couple of heavyweights down there. Well, Rob Reichley could run through there. That's our producer. He's thin.
Smith, touchdown, Tennessee. The second touchdown today for Ontario Smith. That is 6 touchdowns via the ground, I believe, today for the Volunteers. And their lead is now 55-14.
I think the concern for Tennessee today is right now the score is, they're obviously happy about that, but they've got to be concerned with the injury to Darwin Walker. They've got to be concerned with Raynoch Thompson's injury. We talked about loss of Westmoreland. They've lost a lot of players late in the season.
They got a good test next week against Vanderbilt. Much improved team, and they're 1 win shy. The Commodores are becoming bowl eligible. The extra point by Alex Walls is up and good. And Ontario Smith, bright future for that young man. Talking to Jamal Lewis in the background, and Jamal, they haven't even.
It looks that way.
The reality of it is that's probably going to happen, but nonetheless, the SEC could put theoretically 8 teams into a bowl, possibly 9. Ernest Sims on the return for Kentucky with 5:18 to go.
And Dusty Bonner comes back out there. Now, concentrate, get that yardage, make sure that Anthony White gets that receiving yardage. It's only happened 3 times in the history of the NC2A. 2 times, I should say. This would be the 3rd time. Let me tell you something. You just throw the ball to him. Every down. You throw it to him every down. Circle him out of the backfield, get him one-on-one, dump the ball to him, and get him that mark.
He's got 39 receiving yards, so he needs 11. There he is, Anthony White.
There's 9.
Across the 35 to the 36. And you know how Mommy knows that in the back of his mind. It's his last game here at home, and would love nothing more than to give a guy who's really laid it on the line during his career here
Absolutely.
the opportunity to do that.
Now you dump it to him again. Roll him out of the backfield. See if you can get him on a little circle pattern. The interesting thing is, don't think Tennessee doesn't know that. But players respect greatness in players.
That pass is caught by Bobby Blizzard. Blizzard now with his 5th catch of the game. Blizzard came into this one with just 2 receptions on the season. You'll see a lot of 89 in the future.
I'm looking over to see exactly how many yards Anthony White officially has. Needs 2 yards. Okay. Here it comes. Watch this.
There it is. Anthony White will get 2 and then some.
All right.
And you're looking at only the 3rd player in the history of NCAA college football to have 1,500 yards receiving and 1,500 yards rushing.
A little dump pass right here to the flat. You can see he gets a good block there. Roll block out in front now. Pick up the yardage. That block was by Bobby Blizzard. Quite a tribute to Anthony White.
Darren Nelson and Brad Mustard both ought to stand for the other 2 individuals. Whalen, the guy who has the NCAA record for receptions by a tight end in a season, adds to his total. Whalen now with 6 catches.
You know, I remember you talked about James Whalen's mom. I mean, that was incredible. Whalen came to this program by his mom taking a videotape of his high school games. I mean, that is an absolutely incredible story.
Sent it in to the coach. Coach said, yeah, come on, we'll let you on. Walk on.
I bet he can catch tennis balls.
Who would have thought that this guy would be closing in on 90 receptions in a single season as a tight end? Bonner under pressure, steps up across midfield, back to the line of scrimmage. That'll bring up a 3rd down situation.
Well, I can tell you that, first of all, 81 receptions by a tight end. You've got to stay awfully healthy. That is absolutely incredible.
He's got 6 today for 91 yards, so 87 receptions for James.
He didn't break a record. He shattered it.
Yeah, old record is 73. That's with only a 3 reception game last week against Vanderbilt. Up top, pass is caught by Derek Smith down to the 15-yard line, and Smith looks like he is slow to get up.
That's the heir apparent for James Whalen, number 43, Derek Smith, and he took a shot, but he pops up and looks to the first person over to him, Whalen.
James Whalen, 85, but here's a look at maybe the future at tight end.
Good pattern, just a streak, run past the coverage. Now right there he gets hit pretty good.
Just probably knocked the wind out of him.
Yeah. Interesting picture right there. The senior Whalen, his last game. The heir apparent Derek Smith, 43. Holding his wrist. Looked like maybe he fell on the football. They can't afford to lose any receivers at Kentucky.
First and 10 as we move under 3 minutes. Bonner will run it again. Bonner, believe it or not, Dave, that is his 21st carry.
Oh, wow. Well, they wanted to run the football, but I don't know. I don't know that they wanted to make him. And, you know, I can watch him come back.
How about this? 21 carries for Dusty. The next closest guy in terms of rushing, Anthony White with 4.
Well, some of them are running designed runs. Other ones are running for your life.
He only came in here with 90 rushes all season. Out to the outside. It's Anthony White inside the 10. All right, Anthony White with a touchdown.
Very fitting. Very fitting that Anthony White should end his career with a touchdown. Little swing pass out into the flat. Once White gets it, he sets up the corner right here, flips back outside. You can see him use those little stutter feet now. Just get inside. You see him put the ball inside the pylon.
Anthony White, 7 catches, 70 yards, pair of touchdowns receiving. And it's 56-21.
Now, surely Hal Mummy's not going to kick an onside kick now. Well, I know.
2:10 left in the game. But, Dave, for a moment, I'd like to thank those of the JP crew for being awesome this year. What a great season we've had. Our producer has been Rob Reichley. Our director today is Billy McCoy. Ken Dennis has been with us most of the year. Joey Weber, our technical unit manager. Robin Russo, our associate director. Todd Manhinnett, our font coordinator. Kim Anderson, my man Kim. I've known since I was 2.
Gosh, you're old, aren't you?
He's our spotter. Kelly Collier, technical director. Carol Van Norman running Infinite. Dave Warlick in audio. Tyrone Moore, David Stawicki, Mark Pollack. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark, look up here.
Wake up down there. Jimmy Reese.
Where's JR? He's got to be around here somewhere.
Jimmy Reese has been phenomenal.
He's up in the perch.
High at top, probably complaining to somebody right now.
There
Hey,
he is. Oh, look at that. He's got a roof. Look at him.
JR has been tremendous, helping us get our booth set every week. Mike Drange, Howard Hoffman, Emerson Lawson, and Uplink. Mike Dunn back in tape, along with Mike Winslow, our EIC engineer in charge, Dave Johnson, Robert Phillips in video, and Jimmy Champion, our driver, who gets the truck every week. Great guy. Enjoy everything. And, of course, our executive producer, Mr. Jimmy Rayburn, has been fantastic. And on a personal note, it's been wonderful. My first year, Dave Rowe, you have been a blessing to work with this year, and I greatly appreciate it. And we will come back for the final 2:10 in a moment. 56-21 is our score in the fourth quarter. 2:10 left. Tennessee, by the way, has pretty much had an offensive have had offensive seasons against Kentucky the last few years. The onside kick is recovered. Bernie Veazey. But offensively, this Kentucky team loves playing Kentucky. Time for our Amico play of the game. Travis Henry was so dominant in the first quarter.
Yeah, this is one of those guess who. 61 yards for a score. 125 yards in the first quarter. That set the tempo of the game.
Not much doing there, but Tennessee, Dave, they've scored at least 56 points now in the last 4 games against Kentucky. They've outscored Kentucky, as I add this up in my head, 398 to 127 in the last 4 years.
Well, and in fairness to Kentucky, they were without, we talked about the 6 wideouts that they had lost, their 6 wide receivers, did not have them. And then to take on Tennessee after Tennessee's been wounded last week.
They were wounded. They were wounded.
Yes, that was wounded.
Back to the line of scrimmage with 1:15 and timeout taken by Kentucky.
You know what, I really appreciate a lot of the camaraderie that goes between these players. I saw that time Kentucky guy got up, popped one of the Tennessee guys on the head to say, hey, good game. A lot of respect for these two teams they have for each other.
James Whalen, 85. Burst onto the scene. If he's not your All-American tight end in the country, we need to,
let me tell you,
reanalyze how we select All-Americans, because he's been sensational. Dusty Bonner, we've had a chance to get to know him well this year in our games, and what a competitor. You know, his biggest disappointment talking to him yesterday was the fact that his high school, Valdosta, didn't make the state playoffs.
Didn't make the playoffs for the first year.
Since '93, they've been in the playoffs every year.
How about our old guy, Bob Kessling?
I owe that man a lot.
There he is, right there. There's Bobber.
Bob used to be the voice of JP football last year, longtime member of the Jefferson Pilot family. Now,
you know what? I could take and make a mustache. Oh, well, I won't do that.
He replaces John Ward. He retired a year ago. Bob doing a great job for the Vols. Pass picked off. Derek Tatum still on his feet. Dragged down at the 40 with 1 minute to play in the football game.
Well, buddy, I'll see you next year. You're coming back. You might not know that, but you're coming back.
Good.
I ain't trading you.
6'8", 300 pounds. I like that.
I'm not trading you. You're coming back. Good concentration right there. Look the football in, then do something with it. This Kentucky team, they think, hey, we might be able to get another score.
I know. You said that a couple weeks ago.
I know.
If there's a second on the clock, they think they're in it.
They think they're in it. But you've done a marvelous job. Had some pretty big shoes to fill, and you've done a great job.
Well, thank you very much. It has been sensational. The games we have had this year.
Oh, gosh.
Ole Miss, Vandy in overtime. Mississippi State and Auburn do a last-second game.
How about that Georgia-LSU game?
Georgia-LSU, a 2-point conversion that went awry. LSU-Alabama stopped at the 1-yard line.
It's been a marvelous year. We've had some great picks. Great picks. I think I'm wondering that's going off the football field. Someone's going off injured.
Who is that?
That might be Mickey Allen. I think that's Mickey Allen.
Penalties declined.
Mickey Allen, the senior out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, limping off the field. One guy you can't get off the field, though, Dave, is where's number 7 back there?
Yeah.
Named Deion Grant.
Oh, boy. I want to tell you, that interception that Grant had, that's as good an interception as I've ever seen. Stick one hand in there and just do it.
Whalen down the sidelines.
I thought he was over, but he's still catching them.
The 36, James, now with 8 catches. He goes up over 100 yards receiving. Has 1 touchdown today.
Man, that's just an incredible football player there. Catches everything that's thrown to him. We talked about he'd only missed 2 balls that actually hit his hand. He catches everything.
He had 4 TDs against Georgia earlier this year, which tied a Kentucky record. And has his 5th 100-yard game today, 8 for 115. Derek Homer tripped up in the backfield. With 30 seconds to play in the game.
Now, why not go long? Why not just throw one of them bombs? Maybe go to Whalen again. What the heck? He's played so well. Dusty Bonner trying to hurry.
To the outside. Whalen is hit. And Kentucky calls a timeout. 4 seconds left. Phil Fulmer with a little laugh on his face.
Well, he ought to have a laugh. His team scored 56 points. They've got back in their offensive flow. They've taken domination of the football game. The only concerns I think Philip Fulmer has is how many people were injured.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. If they suit up against anybody in the country and play like they did in the first 20 minutes of this football game, they will not lose.
They would not lose to anybody. That was this. I mean, to tell you, we're looking at the first quarter. They had 225 or 30 yards offense. I mean, you're looking at 1,000 yards.
Virginia Tech over Temple 62-7, so that pretty much locks up a spot for them in the championship. And trying to wait on, see what happens with the likes of Florida.
Ooh, 7-0 Florida State in the first, I heard.
Mixed emotions about that. My alma mater going up against my SEC school.
Yeah, where's your heart, boy?
Where the paychecks lie. Picked off by guess who? Deion Grant down the far side, and that will end the game. Deion Grant with his 2nd interception and his 8th of the year. Philip Fulmer and the Volunteers roll to victory, 56-21. We'll come back to Lexington in a moment.